Chapter 876. Now that he was a poor man, he had to seize the opportunity to become a seventh-grade alchemist. Not only would he be able to save money, but he would also be able to earn some spirit stones by refining elixirs. Well, I can, but don't you think you're in too much of a hurry? Su Wujin said, Little Qin, the level of alchemy is closely related to your cultivation, but it doesn't mean that your alchemy skills will improve as your cultivation increases. Although you've entered the void training stage, you still need to practice for a while before you can refine 6th grade elixirs. Fang Qiong stood next to him and didn't say anything. She agreed with Su Wujin's words very much, but the young man in front of her was too monstrous. He had exceeded her expectations again and again. Maybe he could really refine 6th grade elixirs. Qin Haodong said, President Su, please give me a chance to try. The alchemy skills that I've learned with my master are a bit special. As long as I have the cultivation, I can refine the corresponding elixirs. Helplessly, he could only bring up his imaginary teacher again. Well, what kind of elixir do you want to refine? Su Wujin hesitated for a moment, and then agreed. I want to refine a void-breaking pill. What? You want to refine a void-breaking pill? Although he was shocked by the miracle brought by Qin Haodong today, Su Wujin was still shocked. Little Qin, you have to think about it carefully. This void-breaking pill is the pinnacle of 6th grade elixirs. Even I can't guarantee that I can refine it every time. You've just broken through to the void training stage. Why don't you choose some easier elixirs for the test? That way, you'll have a higher chance of passing. Qin Haodong knew the void-breaking pill very well, and he also knew its status among the 6th grade elixirs. Each void-breaking pill could help a cultivator in the void training stage advance by a small level, so it was naturally expensive. He said, President Su, I want to refine this kind of elixir. You promised me that all the test fees would be free. Are you feeling distressed now? From the bottom of his heart, Su Wujin was indeed distressed. The materials needed to refine the void-breaking pill were extremely expensive. Moreover, this was only a branch of the Alchemist Guild, so he didn't have many medicinal materials stored. It was also for this reason that there were very few void-breaking pills in the entire Black Tortoise Academy. However, since he had agreed, he couldn't go back on his word. He could only grit his teeth and say, All right then, Little Qin, I can provide you with the materials for alchemy. However, these materials are extremely precious, so I can only give you one set. Thank you, President Su. One is enough. With Qin Haodong's attainments in alchemy, it was not too difficult for him to refine a 6th grade elixir. It was impossible for him to fail. The three of them returned to the alchemy room. Su Wujin arranged for someone to prepare a set of materials for the void-breaking pill. Then Qin Haodong began to refine the pill again. One by one, Qin Haodong soaked the herbs into the medicine king hall. Su Wujin and Fang Qiong stood quietly behind him and watched. The more they watched, the more astonished they became. Although he was refining a 6th grade elixir, Qin Haodong's alchemy technique was still orderly and smooth, and his speed was no slower than refining elixirs. Judging from his alchemy technique, there was no rudeness at all. No one would have thought that he was a student who had just advanced to the void training realm. About half an hour later, a burst of pill fragrance wafted out. Qin Haodong raised the jade bottle in his hand and caught 6 void-breaking pills that flew out of the furnace. Looking at the elixir in the jade bottle, he couldn't help but shake his head slightly. The higher the grade of the elixir, the higher the requirement for the flame. This furnace only produced 6 elixirs, and only 1 elixir pattern. While he was feeling dissatisfied, Su Wujin and Fang Qiong were extremely shocked. As alchemists, they knew very well how difficult it was to refine this kind of 6th grade elixir. Even Su Wujin, a 6th grade alchemist, couldn't guarantee success every time. Even if he succeeded, it was the kind without elixir pattern. But Qin Haodong had easily refined it, and it was a high-quality elixir with elixir pattern. After holding the jade bottle in his hand, Su Wujin exclaimed, Little Qin, I'll take all these elixirs. Each one is 1,000 top-grade spirit stones. Although he was short of money now, Qin Haodong hesitated for a moment and said, President Su, I'll keep 3 of these elixirs and sell the other 3 to the alchemist union. That's fine. This kind of elixir with elixir pattern can't be refined every time. Su Wujin put away the 3 void-breaking pills, returned the jade bottle in his hand to Qin Haodong, and paid 3,000 top-grade spirit stones. Fang Qiong'er said, "Junior brother, you're now a 6th-grade alchemist, 1 level higher than me. Can you accept me as your disciple?" Qin Haodong said, "There's no need. I haven't thought about accepting disciples at this age. If you have any problems in alchemy and want to learn from me, you can come to me at any time. I promise I'll teach you everything I know." Seeing Qin Haodong's firm attitude, Fang Qiong'er hesitated for a moment and said, Then, can I call you senior brother from now on?" "Well, you can call me whatever you want." But Qin Haodong didn't refuse this time. A smile appeared on Fang Qiong'er's arrogant face and she said sweetly, "Senior brother Qin." Su Wujin was secretly surprised. He had never seen this arrogant little girl speak to someone in such a tone. Qin Haodong nodded and said, "Since you call me senior brother, I'll give this void-breaking pill to you as a gift." This is too expensive, isn't it?" Fang Qiong'er was a little hesitant. This elixir was worth 1,000 top-grade spirit stones. She didn't expect that Qin Haodong would give it to her so casually. Qin Haodong said, "It's just a pill. It's not expensive. If you don't accept it, don't call me senior brother in the future." "Thank you, senior brother," Fang Qiong'er said and took the void-breaking pill. Su Wujin said, "Qiong'er, try it now and see what effect this void-breaking pill with elixir pattern has." "Yes, teacher." The 3 of them returned to the quiet room together. Fang Qiong'er sat cross-legged, swallowed the void-breaking pill, and began to run her genuine qi to break through to the late stage of void training realm. Su Wujin and Qin Haodong stood next to her. Although they couldn't see the changes in Fang Qiong'er's body, they could feel that her momentum was constantly rising. About half an hour later, Fang Qiong'er's momentum reached its peak. With a loud bang in her head, she finally broke through the middle stage of void training realm and reached the late stage of void training realm. She was only 1 step away from the consummation. She slowly opened her eyes and stood up from the ground. She took Qin Haodong's arm and said, "Thank you, senior brother." At this time, her eyes were full of admiration and gratitude. She had always been the best among her peers since she was a child. No one had ever been better than her. Although the Black Tortoise Institute's 5 dragons and 3 phoenixes had a higher cultivation level than her. But those people were all older than her. Moreover, she was an alchemist, so a high cultivation level alone was not enough to completely subdue her. In general, Qin Haodong was the first man who could truly convince her. "You're welcome. I'm your senior brother, and I need to rely on you to protect me in the future." Qin Haodong joked and then said to Su Wujin, "President Su, I'll go back if there's nothing else." Su Wujin nodded and said, "You go back first. I don't have a 6th-grade alchemist's medal. You need to apply for it from the headquarters of the alchemists in Black Tortoise Kingdom. I'll send it to you in a few days." The 3 of them walked out together and came to the examination room. Zhang Dapeng, Ma Yan and the others had been waiting here since they came out, waiting for news. Seeing that Fang Qiong'er had walked out unscathed, everyone was relieved. Although Fang Qiong'er was arrogant, it did not hinder her charm. These people all regarded her as a goddess, so they naturally didn't want anything to happen to her. After seeing these people, Fang Qiong'er remembered that the exam papers had not been reviewed yet. She said to Qin Haodong apologetically, "Senior brother, you go first. I can't accompany you. I have to finish reviewing the papers as soon as possible." "It's okay. I can go by myself." Qin Haodong smiled at Fang Qiong'er. Fang Qiong'er responded with a smile. The temperature of the whole room seemed to rise a bit, and the air became extremely cheerful. As the saying goes, a smile can charm 100 people. It was the most suitable description for Fang Qiong'er at this moment. "Girls, you're still prettier when you smile more." Qin Haodong patted Fang Qiong'er on the shoulder and turned around to leave the examination room. This time, everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? This guy was just a new student when he came here. He didn't even take the alchemist exam. How did he become the senior brother of a goddess? How could the goddess not be angry at him for touching a girl? Many of them had known Fang Qiong for some time. This goddess was very arrogant, and they had never seen her smile at any man. But today, she actually smiled at Qin Haodong, which was more surprising than the sun rising from the west. Fang Qiong ignored everyone's surprised look. After Qin Haodong left, the smile on her face also disappeared, and she became the cold and arrogant goddess again. Then she sat at the table and began to review the papers. Qin Haodong walked out of the door of the Alchemist's Guild. This time he had gained a lot. Not only did he improve his cultivation, but he also earned a lot of spirit stones and 3 void-breaking pills. He was about to walk in the direction of the medicinal materials sales hall. But after a few steps, he saw a dozen people suddenly rushed out and blocked his way. Qin, let's see who can protect you this time. It was Dong Zhenjiang who spoke. Next to him stood Dong Zhenhai and a dozen other students, all of whom had reached the late stage of divine transformation realm. Qin Haodong smiled slightly. As a man, I neither need anyone to protect me, nor do I need to rely on anyone. I won't complain after being beaten. You. Dong Zhenjiang's face turned red from the sarcasm. He said to Dong Zhenhai, "Brother, you must help me teach this guy a lesson. Let him know how to behave in our Black Tortoise Academy." Dong Zhenhai stepped in front of Qin Haodong. "Boy, without the little witch here, why are you still so arrogant? Let me tell you, there are only 2 ways for you to go today. Either you hand over 200 spirit stones of the highest quality, or I'll break your legs." Qin Haodong glanced at him and asked indifferently, "As far as I know, our school forbids students from fighting. Do you want to be expelled from Black Tortoise Academy?" "Expelled from Black Tortoise Academy?" Dong Zhenhai laughed disdainfully. "Let me tell you, these rules are for ordinary students like you. They have no effect on me. Even if I break your legs, I'll at most give you some spirit stones as punishment. I won't be expelled from Black Tortoise Academy." A tall and thin student next to him also shouted, "That's right. Don't you know who our brother is? He's one of the top 10 in Black Tortoise Academy. In a few days, the competition between the North and South Academies of Black Tortoise Academy will be held. Our academy is counting on my brother to win glory for our school. How can we expel him?" Dong Zhenhai said proudly, "Did you hear that? I won't be expelled. Are you going to hand over the money, or let me break your legs?" Chapter 877. Qin Haodong glanced at him and asked, "You mean as long as you have the strength, you won't be expelled even if you violate the rules of the college?" Dong Zhenhai said proudly, "Of course. The Northern College has been losing against the Southern College for 5 years in a row. We can't lose this year no matter what. I'm one of the top 10 masters, and the college is counting on me to bring glory to the college. The dean won't expel me, so you don't have anything to rely on. Just hand over the money." Qin Haodong smiled and said playfully, "That's good. Come on, let's do it." He had some scruples at first. He had just arrived at the Black Tortoise College, and there were abundant cultivation resources here. It would be bad if he was kicked out. Dong Zhenhai's expression changed and he shouted, "Boy, have you really thought about it?" He didn't want to make a big deal out of Dong Zhenjiang. He just wanted to extort some top-grade spirit stones. But he didn't expect this new student to be so stingy. "Come on, don't dawdle. I'm in a hurry." Qin Haodong said impatiently, "Good boy. You won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Today I'll show you my power." Dong Zhenhai stretched out his right hand and hit Qin Haodong's chest. The steel opening palm was his best move. Although it wouldn't kill Qin Haodong, it was enough to make him lie in bed for a few months. Dong Zhenhai's cultivation had reached the early stage of the void refinement stage. His palm looked extremely sharp and pierced through the air, as if the surrounding air was about to collapse. Qin Haodong's expression didn't change at all. He might have been afraid before he entered the Medicine Refinement Union, but now he was at the middle stage of the void refinement stage. Dealing with this guy in front of him was as easy as eating and drinking. Just as he was about to raise his genuine qi, he suddenly smelled a fragrance, and then a slim figure stood between him and Dong Zhenhai. It was Fang Qiong. They were in front of the Medicine Refinement Union. She heard that someone was going to make things difficult for Qin Haodong, so she immediately rushed over. In her opinion, Qin Haodong was at most at the early stage of the void refinement stage, and he had just broken through. Naturally, he couldn't be compared with Dong Junhai. Therefore, she forcibly intervened and stood in front of Qin Haodong. She raised her hand and slapped at Dong Junhai. In Dong Junhai's eyes, Qin Haodong, who had just entered the academy, was at most in the early stage of the divine transformation realm. Qin Haodong was no match for an expert in the void refinement realm like him. However, he did not expect that Fang Qiunger would suddenly appear out of nowhere. It was too late for him to stop now, so he could only grit his teeth and fight. A loud bang resounded. Fang Qiunger stood in front of Qin Haodong and did not move, but Dong Junhai flew backward like a kite with a broken string. He began to vomit blood in midair, and finally hit a big tree with a bang and fell to the ground. He was only at the early stage of the void refinement state, and ranked last among the top 10 cultivators. There was a huge gap between him and Fang Qiunger. Besides, Fang Qiunger had already reached the late stage of void refinement after taking the void-breaking pill. The gap between them would only widen, and he would not be able to withstand a single attack from her. When Qin Haodong saw that someone was fighting for him, he was happy to enjoy it, and watched happily from the side. Dong Junhai picked himself up from the ground, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said angrily, "Fang Qiunger, what are you doing? What does this have to do with you?" Fang Qiunger raised her chin like a proud swan and said, "Dong Junhai, I don't care if you and your stupid brother bully others, but you have offended my senior brother. You must apologize to him today, or you will not be able to leave." Dong Junhai was stunned. He and Dong Zhenjiang had always bullied the weak and feared the strong. Fang Qiunger was already stronger than him, and it seemed that she had improved today, so he was even less of a match for her. He had no choice but to shout fiercely, "Fang Qiunger, don't mess around. Have you forgotten the rules of our academy? You will be expelled from the academy if you fight in private." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Master Dong, didn't you just say that as long as you have the strength, you will not be expelled even if you violate the rules of the academy?" Dong Junhai was speechless. He had just said that, but he did not expect that it would be used against him so soon. "You, Qin boy, come and fight me if you can. What's the point of always hiding behind a woman?" He was really depressed now. Yesterday, he had just brought some people to look for Qin Haodong, but they ran into the little she-devil, who was scared by the three-headed hellhound. After that, he had sent people to keep an eye on Qin Haodong. When he learned that Qin Haodong had entered the school of alchemy alone, he sent people to guard the door, wanting to teach this ignorant newbie a lesson, while the little she-devil was not there. Unexpectedly, the little she-devil was not there, but Fang Qiunger jumped out. Was a pretty boy so attractive to women? Qin Haodong said with a smile. "You can talk after you defeat my junior sister." At this time, Fang Qiunger was full of respect and admiration for Qin Haodong, who could be regarded as her idol in life. At this time, seeing that the Dong brothers had no intention of apologizing, her expression suddenly became cold. "Dong, since you don't know what's good for you, then I won't go easy on you." Fang Qiunger exploded. Not only Dong Junhai and Dong Zhenjiang were unlucky, but also the dozen or so lackeys he had brought with him. The dozen or so people were beaten until they cried for their parents and crawled on the ground. At first, Dong Junhai was still a little unconvinced and wanted to fight back, but he was beaten again and vomited blood. In the end, he was finally beaten up. Not to mention the others, Dong Zhenjiang shouted at the top of his lungs, "Help! Hurry up and help! Dean Dean, someone broke the rules of the school." This guy was born with a croaky voice, and coupled with his desperate shouting, it immediately spread to almost half of the school. Countless students quickly flew over, wanting to see what was going on. When they saw the Dong brothers were beaten up by Fang Qiunger and crawling on the ground, many people clapped and cheered. Fang Qiunger stepped on Dong Junhai's chest and said, "Hurry up and apologize to my senior brother." Dong Junhai did not want to apologize, but he was really afraid of being beaten by Fang Qiunger. If he apologized, with so many people watching, how could he continue to stay in the school in the future? "Junior sister, why are you forcing him to apologize? What's the use of apologizing? It's not worth money, Qin Haodong came to Dong Junhai with a smile, squatted down, looked at him and said, I've always been a reasonable person. Now I'll give you two choices. Either you pay me 200 top-grade spirit stones as compensation for mental damage, or I'll break your legs. Dong Junhai's face had already turned red. This was the condition he had just proposed to Qin Haodong. The wheel of fortune had turned, and in the blink of an eye, it had fallen on him. He said fiercely, I don't believe you dare to break my legs. Qin Haodong said with a smile, Maybe I don't dare, but my junior sister has a bad temper. Maybe she will accidentally break your legs, and it will be too late to regret. Hearing his words, Fang Qiong'er stepped on Dong Junhai's thigh very cooperatively. With a little force, she could break his leg in an instant. From his position, Qin Haodong could see Fang Qiong'er's legs. He could not help but secretly admire her long legs. It was a pity that she did not wear a miniskirt and high heels. While he was peeking, suddenly a figure flashed in front of him. Luo Dongqing landed in the crowd with a huge wine gourd on her back. What's going on? Who told you to fight? At this time, Luo Dongqing was speaking seriously, exuding a strong momentum. Qin Haodong glanced at the old man, and found that he had reached the peak of the form synthesis stage. Dean, you're here. Dean, help me. Dong Junhai immediately shouted desperately as if he had seen a family member. In front of Luo Dongqing, Fang Qiong'er could not go too far, so she immediately took back her long legs. Luo Dongqing cried with a serious face, You openly violated the rules of the college and fought here. Do you want me to kick you out of Black Tortoise College? You're wrong, Dean. Luo Zhenjiang said with tears and snot. Dean, we were not fighting, we were completely beaten. Look at us, we were beaten like this. You must help us. Luo Zhenhai also said, Dean, the two of them teamed up to blackmail us. They just wanted to blackmail me for 200 top-grade spirit stones. As he spoke, he raised his hand and pointed at Fang Qiong'er and Qin Haodong. Luo Dongqing looked in the direction of his finger. When she saw Qin Haodong, she was slightly stunned at first, and then a flash of joy flashed in her eyes. Fang Qiong'er hurriedly said, Dean Luo, they teamed up to bully my senior brother, so I took action. Luo Dongqing said, I don't care what the reason is. Gathering people to fight is against the rules of the college. This time I'll be lenient and not kick you out of the college, but the basic punishment will still be imposed. Each of you will pay 200 top-grade spirit stones as a fine for this violation. If you do it again, get out of Black Tortoise College. Seeing that the dean had made the decision, Dong Junhai and the others did not dare to refute. They could only obediently pay 200 top-grade spirit stones. Fang Qiong'er also took out 200 top-grade spirit stones to pay the fine. Dong Junhai was furious. Seeing that Qin Haodong did not do anything, he shouted to Luo Dongqing, Dean, it's all because of him. He should also pay the fine. Qin Haodong spread out his hands and said, Dean Luo, as you can see, I neither hit anyone nor was beaten. I didn't participate in the fight at all. There's no reason for me to pay the fine. Forget it, all of you can leave now. You are strictly prohibited from violating the rules of the college in the future, or you will be severely punished. Luo Dongqing reprimanded several people and said to Qin Haodong, Come with me. Then he turned his head and walked in the direction of the dean's office. Qin Haodong whispered in Fang Qiong'er's ear, You can go back first. Don't worry, I'll help you get your fine back. Fang Qiong'er was a 5th-grade alchemist. She often refined elixirs and sold them. She was also a rich woman, so she did not care about the fine of 200 spirit stones. However, Qin Haodong spoke in her ear in public. He looked very intimate, and a breath of manly smell came to her face, which made her heart beat wildly. She lowered her head and said softly, Under many people's gazes, Qin Haodong followed Luo Dongqing to his office. Luo Dongqing sat in the dean's seat, looked at Qin Haodong with a serious expression, and said, You caused a fight among the students as soon as you arrived at the college. How should I punish you? Qin Haodong was not nervous at all. He said with a smile, Dean, I didn't make any mistakes. You have no reason to punish me. On the contrary, I helped you earn so much money. Shouldn't you give me some of it? How dare you talk to me like this? Don't you have any rules? Luo Dongqing slapped the table. and the momentum of a strong man instantly burst out. "Old man, don't bully my little brother." As soon as he finished speaking, the little devil Luo Hongying walked in from outside. Chapter 878. After seeing Luo Hongying, Luo Dongqing's powerful momentum suddenly disappeared, and he cried in annoyance. "You stinky girl, what are you talking about? I'm your grandfather." The little she-devil put her hands on her hips and shouted aggressively, "If you bully my little brother, I'll call you an old man. Stinky girl, how dare you help outsiders to deal with your grandfather? Do you want to be taught a lesson?" The little she-devil cried fearlessly. "If you dare to touch me, I'll tell Grandma that you were drunk and harassed a female teacher of the college." Well, my good granddaughter, Grandpa is joking with you. Don't go to your grandma and say bad things about Grandpa." This sentence seemed to poke Luo Dongqing's weak point. He suddenly looked like a deflated ball, and his momentum was gone. A flattering smile appeared on his serious face. Seeing this scene, Qin Haodong almost choked to death by his own saliva. This old man was really a little too interesting. He was strangled by his granddaughter. It seemed that he suffered from a serious henpecked wife. The little she-devil raised her chin like a proud hen. She turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Little brother, if this old man bullies you in the future, you can find me. I'll help you vent your anger." Luo Dongqing was so angry that he looked up to the sky and sighed. "Alas, girls are extroverted. People are not what they used to be." Qin Haodong patted the little she-devil's head and said to Luo Dongqing, "Dean Luo, you don't have to beat around the bush. You just want 2 more bottles of wine from me, don't you?" Luo Dongqing said with some embarrassment, "How did you know?" "It's not hard to guess. I was originally a victim in this matter. If you want to punish me, you can punish me there. Why did you call me to your office?" "Young man, you're smart. No wonder my granddaughter likes you," Luo Dongqing immediately said with a smile. "Since you can see it, then give me 2 bottles of wine. To be honest, after drinking your wine last time, other wines are like cold water. They have no taste at all. I've been so hungry these days." Qin Haodong said, "I have wine, but I can't give it to you for free." I know. Isn't it just 10 top-grade spirit stones for a bottle? I'll give you the money right now." Thinking of the taste of the 2 bottles of Maotai, Luo Dongqing swallowed her saliva. She reached out to grab a handful of top-grade spirit stones from the storage ring and put them in front of Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong said, "Dean Luo, it's not about money. My wine is limited, and I can't sell it at will." Luo Dongqing heard the hidden meaning in his words. He immediately patted his chest and said, "Young man, just state your conditions. For the sake of my granddaughter, this old man will definitely agree to it." The little she-devil snorted and said unhappily, "Little brother, since the old man is giving me face, then you don't have to give me the wine." Luo Dongqing's face suddenly turned bitter. She said in annoyance, "You little girl, you don't know how to say a few good words for your grandfather. Why should I help you? I am your grandfather. Can't you tell who is closest to you?" "Of course I can. Little brother is the closest to me." The little she-devil held Qin Haodong's arm and said proudly, "You." Luo Dongqing was so angry that his beard twitched, but he couldn't do anything to his granddaughter. Qin Haodong said, "Well, Dean Luo, let's talk about the conditions. As long as you agree to my conditions, I guarantee that you will be able to drink good wine immediately." "Come on, as long as I can drink good wine, I will agree to any conditions," Luo Dongqing said eagerly. "What happened today is not our fault at all. It was Dong Jinhai and his men who came to provoke us. So shouldn't my junior sister's fine be returned to me?" Luo Dongqing glared and said, "That's 200 spirit stones. You can buy a cart of 10 li xiang." Qin Haodong said lightly, "Well, forget what I said. Go and drink 10 li xiang." Luo Dongqing originally wanted to talk about the price, but seeing Qin Haodong's attitude, it seemed that he had a firm grip on him. However, since he drank Maotai, the 10 li xiang was really like water, without any taste of wine. Okay, I'm afraid of you. Isn't it just 200 spirit stones? Here you are." After saying that, Luo Dongqing slapped the 200 spirit stones in front of Qin Haodong and said, "Take out the wine quickly." Qin Haodong took the spirit stones and said happily, I haven't finished talking about my conditions. How can I give you the wine now? Luo Dongqing glared and said, Boy, don't go too far. I've returned all the spirit stones to you. The little witch immediately patted the table and cried, Old man, don't be mean to my little brother. Luo Dongqing's expression froze and she cried angrily, Girls are outgoing. Girls are outgoing. I'm so angry. Qin Haodong said, Dean Luo, before you came, I had already talked about the price with Dong Zhenhai. He had to compensate me 200 spirit stones. You messed up my business when you came. Shouldn't you compensate me? Luo Dongqing said angrily, You brat, are you blackmailing me? Qin Haodong did not speak. Instead, he took out a bottle of drunkard's wine from his storage ring. He opened the lid and sniffed it with his nose. It smells so good. I feel comfortable just by smelling it. I wonder what it tastes like to drink it. As an old drunkard, Luo Dongqing immediately smelled the aroma of the drunkard's wine and swallowed hard. Brat, I'm afraid of you. I'll give you another 200 spirit stones. Hurry up and give me a sip of this wine. I'm dying of thirst. Luo Dongqing took out 200 spirit stones and threw them to Qin Haodong. Then she reached out to grab the bottle of drunkard's wine. Qin Haodong was secretly amused. What he lacked most now was the spirit stones. It was not easy to catch a rich man. He must make a fortune. He thought of something and put the bottle into the storage ring. Dean Luo, I haven't finished talking about my conditions yet. Brat, you've gone too far. I've already given you 400 spirit stones. What else do you want? Dean Luo, don't be angry. Let's talk about it. Qin Haodong said with a smile. You find everyone 200 top-grade spirit stones today. That's more than 2,000 spirit stones. Shouldn't I share some of the credit? Luo Dongqing said angrily. What does it have to do with you? Qin Haodong said naturally. Of course it has something to do with me. If it weren't for me, they wouldn't have violated the rules of the college. If they didn't violate the rules of the college, where would you get a fine? Little brother is right. Hurry up and give some money to little brother. The little witch immediately stood on Qin Haodong's side. Brat, believe it or not, I'll drive you both out of the Black Tortoise College. The little witch did not show weakness and cried. Old man, believe it or not, I'll tell Grandma that you can't enter the house for the rest of your life. Luo Dongqing did not directly admit defeat this time. She rolled her eyes and said, Brat, believe it or not, I'll tell your grandma that you have puppy love. Puppy love? The little witch curled her lips and said, I'm not afraid. Grandma always says that she's afraid that I can't get married. If I have a boyfriend, she'll be very happy. Qin Haodong finally understood that in their family, the grandma who he had never met was in charge. Both the little witch and Luo Dongqing were very afraid of that person. Luo Dongqing took 2 deep breaths and finally gave in again. Boy, this is the last time I give in. I will give you another 600 top-grade spirit stones. If you are greedy again, this old man will be angry with you. After that, he threw another 600 spirit stones to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong took the money and said happily, Thank you, old man. This is the wine for you. After that, he took out a whole box of drunkard's wine from his storage ring and put it on the desk in front of him. Luo Dongqing could not wait to grab the bottle that had just been opened and drank half of it in one breath. Then she cried with joy. Good wine, it's really good. Qin Haodong said with a smile. Dean Luo, you've drunk it all. You're welcome to buy wine from me again. Stinking brat. Who can afford to drink this wine of yours? Luo Dongqing seemed to think of something. A smile appeared on his face. He looked at him and said, Boy, are you pursuing my granddaughter? As long as you can give me 100 bottles, no. 200 bottles of this wine as a betrothal gift, I'll agree. Old man, how dare you exchange me for wine? The little witch said angrily. Besides, when did you have the right to call the shots in our family? Luo Dongqing's expression froze and he said embarrassedly, Even if it's your grandma who calls the shots, I still have to consider my opinion. Who wants to consider your opinion? It's useless no matter what you say. The little witch took Qin Haodong's arm and said, Little brother, let's go. Don't talk to this old man. After that, they left the dean's office together. Luo Dongqing was so angry that he glared. But he quickly grabbed the remaining half bottle of wine and drank it happily. After going out, Qin Haodong said, "Thank you for your help." He knew very well that if it weren't for the little witch, he would not have gotten so many top-grade spirit stones. Luo Dongqing was a master at the late stage of form synthesis. Once she was angry, he would not be able to bear it. The little witch said with a smile, "Little brother, if you want to thank me, make me more delicious food." Qin Haodong secretly laughed. One was a drunkard, and the other was a foodie. He didn't know what kind of person his grandma was. "No problem, this is for you." Then Qin Haodong magically took out an ice cream cone from his storage ring and gave it to the little witch. This was a snack prepared for the little fellow in the past. She could eat it whenever she wanted. Now it was Luo Hongying's turn. "What's this?" The little witch had never seen an ice cream cone before. She took a bite, and the incomparable sweetness filled her mouth. "Little brother, thank you. This is so delicious." The little witch was so excited that she even kissed Qin Haodong on the face. Qin Haodong wiped the ice cream on his face and said with a smile, "This is called ice cream cone. Is it delicious?" "It's delicious. It's really delicious. I've never eaten something so delicious." The little witch finished speaking and ate it in big mouthfuls. Qin Haodong asked, "Is your grandma very powerful? Your grandpa seems to be very afraid of your grandma." "Of course he's afraid, because he made a mistake and grandma hasn't forgiven him yet." Qin Haodong suddenly became curious and asked, "I think Dean Luo is a good person. How could he make a mistake?" The little she-devil said as she ate her ice cream, "It's all because of the alcohol. 10 years ago, he had too much to drink and somehow ended up in a female teacher's bed. He was even caught red-handed by his grandmother. Since then, grandma has driven him out of the house and never let him go home." Qin Haodong didn't expect Luo Dongqing to have such a romantic history. He asked, "I don't think your grandpa is that kind of person. How could he make such a mistake? Your grandma is so cruel. It's been 10 years, and she still hasn't forgiven him?" Chapter 879. The little witch said, "I agree with you. I don't think grandpa is that kind of person. There must be some misunderstanding. But I was young at that time, so I didn't know what happened. But grandma didn't think so. She was very angry and didn't forgive grandpa, even after 10 years. The old man was really pitiful. In comparison, he was much happier." With this thought, he suddenly thought of the women on earth and suddenly missed them. He had to improve his cultivation as soon as possible and go back to reunite with his family. "Little brother, what are you thinking about? Why do you look so sad?" "Nothing." Although the little girl trusted him very much, Qin Haodong still didn't want to tell her his secret. He changed the topic and said, "How did you get here?" The little witch said, "I went back to the dormitory with Sister Xingyue after class. When I passed by, I heard that you were taken into the office by Grandpa. I was afraid that he would embarrass you, so I came to help you." Qin Haodong said, "I'm going to the medicinal materials market to buy some medicinal materials. Do you want to go back to the dormitory or go with me?" "Of course I'm going with you. Before you and Sister Xingyue came, I had no friends in the whole college. They were scared to death when they saw me. No one dared to play with me." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "You always play tricks on others." He now understood those people who ran away when they saw Luo Hongying. They couldn't afford to offend this little witch, nor could they beat her. She had a grandpa who was the dean as her backer. The best choice was to stay as far away as possible. The little witch smiled and said, "It's grandma who said that there are no good men, so I habitually play tricks on them. In fact, it's not my fault. Those people are too annoying. If they were as handsome and good at cooking as you, I would have made friends with them long ago." Qin Haodong shook his head secretly. It seemed that the old people still had a great influence on children. At the same time, he was full of curiosity about her grandmother. He didn't know what kind of woman she was. They went to the medicinal materials market. Qin Haodong chose the medicinal materials he needed, and then showed his 5th-grade alchemist's medal. It was the waiter who received him just now. He was shocked when he saw Qin Haodong take out the medal. He didn't expect that this new student would bring back an alchemist's medal so soon. And the level was so high. "Junior brother, you didn't borrow this medal, did you?" Qin Haodong smiled and said, Do you think anyone will lend me the medal of a fifth-grade alchemist? That won't happen. Only senior sister Fang Qiong'er has a fifth-grade alchemist medal in our academy. She would never lend it to you. The waiter shook his head and denied his idea. Then he began to pay the bill for Qin Haodong. Originally, these medicinal materials cost 1,200 top-grade spirit stones. With a 50% discount, Qin Haodong paid 600 spirit stones in total. Qin Haodong put the herbs into the storage ring with satisfaction. It seemed that the alchemist's medal was very useful. After buying the herbs, he returned to the dormitory with the little she-devil. He saw Zhao Xingyue standing in the courtyard and looking in his direction, like a little wife waiting for her man to return. What are you doing here? Qin Haodong asked. I was waiting for you to come back. Zhao Xingyue said with some embarrassment. Then why don't you wait in your room? Zhao Xingyue lowered her head and said, I don't dare to stay in the house alone. Qin Haodong was speechless. This woman looked like a princess. Her cultivation at the late stage of the divine transformation realm was not bad. But she was so timid. He took the two into the room and quickly cooked a delicious dinner for them. Then, he took out the herbs in the ring and prepared to start alchemy. Although the dormitory in the Black Tortoise Academy was a little expensive, it was worth it. Each dormitory was equipped with a small alchemy room. The little she-devil patted her belly with satisfaction. Seeing that Qin Haodong was about to start alchemy, she said, Little brother, I'm going out for a walk. I'll come back at night to play with you. Go ahead. Qin Haodong didn't want to have such a little she-devil by his side when he was alchemy. Who knew when she would cause trouble? Little brother, do you still have that ice cream cone? Can you give me another one? The little she-devil licked her delicate red lips as she spoke. It seemed that this little girl was addicted to it. You'll get fat if you're so greedy. Qin Haodong pinched her little nose, and then took out 2 ice cream cones from the storage ring. He gave one to the little she-devil, and the other to Zhao Xingyue. I'm a natural beauty. I won't get fat. The little she-devil took the ice cream and ran out with a giggle. Qin Haodong entered the alchemy room. Zhao Xingyue quietly watched him while eating ice cream. The first thing Qin Haodong refined was the fortune elixir. He was already very familiar with this kind of elixir. Half an hour later, 9 fortune elixirs with 4 patterns appeared in his jade bottle. Brother Qin, your alchemy technique is really amazing. Even the best alchemist I've seen can't refine elixirs with 4 patterns. Not bad. Qin Haodong took out 2 fortune elixirs and handed them to Zhao Xingyue. These 2 are for you. Eat them and see if you can break through your current realm. Thank you, Brother Qin. Zhao Xingyue took the elixir excitedly and swallowed it. Then, she sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. Although it was not easy to break through the bottleneck between the soul formation realm and the void refinement realm, Zhao Xingyue took 2 fortune elixirs with 4 patterns at once. The power of the elixir was so strong that she broke through the bottleneck in 10 minutes and entered the early stage of the void refinement realm. Brother Qin, your elixir is so good. It made me break through so quickly. Zhao Xingyue said excitedly. Don't worry. Eat this again. Qin Haodong took out another void-breaking elixir and gave it to Zhao Xingyue. He wanted to see if this little girl could be more courageous after her cultivation improved. Zhao Xingyue took another void-breaking elixir. Half an hour later, her cultivation stepped into the middle stage of the void refinement realm. After finishing her cultivation, she jumped up from the ground and held Qin Haodong's arm. She said excitedly, Brother Qin, you're really amazing. You made me break through twice in such a short time. Qin Haodong said, How about it? Are you a little more daring now? Do you dare to stay at home by yourself? The smile on Zhao Xingyue's face quickly disappeared. She said nervously, Brother Qin, you don't want to leave me alone, do you? Qin Haodong sighed. It seemed that his efforts were in vain. This girl's aptitude was good, and her cultivation improved fast. But she was not courageous at all. That's not what I mean. I just think you can't be so timid. Zhao Xingyue said in a low voice. I can't help it. Courage has nothing to do with cultivation. In the face of such a poor girl, Qin Haodong could do nothing but continue to make elixirs. After Qin Haodong and the others left the College of Alchemists, Dong Junhai took Dong Junjiang and a group of men back to his dormitory. These people were all bruised and swollen. They walked with a limp and looked embarrassed. After dealing with their injuries, Dong Junhai said angrily to Dong Zhenjiang, "It's all your fault. You always go out to flirt and cause trouble for me. Now not only have you been beaten like a dog, but you also lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. What do you think you should do?" Dong Zhenjiang said with a bitter face, "Brother, you can't blame me. Who knew that the guy was so popular with women? He even hooked up with Fang Qiong, that big ice cube." Dong Junhai was still angry and said, "Cut the crap. This happened because of you. We lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones at once. That's money. How many tasks do we have to do to earn so much money? Not only that, but we were beaten like this in public. How can we stay in the college in the future? Do we still want our faces?" Dong Zhenjiang said embarrassedly, "Brother, in fact, I have a way to recover all our losses and teach that toy boy Qin a lesson." Dong Junhai said angrily, "That's a bad idea. We listened to you twice and lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. If we listen to you again, we will go bankrupt. Brother, this is really a good idea. You will know after listening to me. This time, we don't need to do it ourselves." Dong Junhai glanced at Dong Zhenjiang and said doubtfully, "What's the good idea? Tell me about it." Dong Zhenjiang said, "Brother, have you forgotten who Fang Qiong is? It's He Kaishan. As long as we tell him that the toy boy seduced Fang Qiong, he will avenge us without us doing anything." Dong Junhai's expression changed, and then his eyes lit up. "Yes, why didn't I think of that?" The top 10 experts that Zhang Daping mentioned actually referred to the northern campus of Black Tortoise College, which was where they lived. He Kaishan ranked 6th among the top 10 experts, and had reached the middle stage of qi refining, which was one level higher than Dong Junhai. He Kaishan had always been attracted to Fang Qiong, and had been attacking her. However, Fang Qiong, did not like him at all, so there was no result. Even so, He Kaishan regarded Fang Qiong, as his exclusive property, and did not allow any man to get close to her. If they went to find He Kaishan now and told him the news, he would be happy to cooperate with them. "Second brother, you finally came up with a decent idea this time. Let's go and have a look now," Dong Zhenjiang said. "Brother, we'd better take care of our injuries, or it'll be too embarrassing to go now." Dong Junhai also thought it made sense. Students like them always had medicine for injuries. Then the dozen of them rubbed and treated each other's injuries. About 2 hours later, the bruises on their faces finally subsided a lot. "Let's go and find He Kaishan now." Dong Junhai and Dong Zhenjiang soon arrived at He Kaishan's dormitory. They were both senior students of the college, and ranked among the top 10 experts in the college, so they were very familiar with each other. Seeing Dong Junhai's sudden visit, He Kaishan invited him into the room and asked, "Brother Dong, what can I do for you?" "Brother He, I think you might have been cheated on." Dong Zhenjiang was more adept at stirring up trouble. He told the story of Qin Haodong and Fang Qiong's relationship with each other, and he almost made them give birth to a child. He Kaishan's face darkened and then he said, "That's impossible. Fang Qiong has always been silent. How could she be with a freshman?" "Brother He, I'm telling the truth. You didn't see what happened at that time. It was so unbearable. Fang Qiong was hugging that guy named Qin Haodong and calling him senior brother. It gave me goosebumps," Dong Zhenjiang said with saliva flying. "Brother He and I couldn't stand it anymore. We wanted to teach Qin Haodong a lesson with our brothers, but Fang Qiong beat us up and fined us more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones by the dean. Brother He, I think we can't hide this from you. We have to teach Qin Haodong a lesson." Chapter 880. After saying that, he looked at He Kaishan eagerly, hoping to see his furious expression. But to his disappointment, He Kaishan was not as furious as he had expected. Instead, he looked at him with deep eyes and said, "Dong Zhenjiang, I've been in the Black Tortoise Academy for a long time, and I know everything. I believe that you were beaten by Fang Qiong, but I don't believe that she is so close to a new student. Could it be that the two of you were wronged by Qiong, and suffered a great loss. So you want me to help you take revenge? This? Dong Zhenjiang was slightly stunned. He Kaishan's intelligence was beyond his imagination, and he had guessed most of it. Dong Zhenhai hurriedly said, Brother He, it's really not like what you think. The relationship between Fang Qiong'er and Qin Haodong is really unusual. He Kaishan frowned and said, But it doesn't make sense. Qiong'er has always been proud and arrogant. She doesn't even care about me, one of the top 10 masters in the school. How could she like a new guy? Dong Zhenjiang said, Brother He, you don't know, but that guy is very handsome, a toy boy, and he is very good at seducing girls. Not only does he have a close relationship with Fang Qiong'er, but he also has a good relationship with that little witch. Dong Zhenhai said, I've asked someone to inquire about it. This guy has just passed the 5th grade alchemist test in the Alchemist Union. Brother He, think about it, Fang Qiong'er values alchemy most. Qin Haodong must know this very well. So he carefully planned to pass the alchemist test to win her heart. He Kaishan's expression changed. You said that this guy passed the 5th grade alchemist test? He had been pursuing Fang Qiong'er for years, so he was very clear about the situation of the alchemist school. Fang Qiong'er was the only 5th grade alchemist in the whole school. If Qin Haodong could really get the 5th grade alchemist medal, it would be reasonable for him to win Fang Qiong'er's heart. Dong Zhenhai patted his chest and said, Brother He, I wouldn't dare lie to you. It's absolutely true. That guy just took the 5th grade alchemist medal to the pharmacy hall to buy medicinal materials. At this point, He Kaishan no longer doubted the Dong brothers' words. He clenched his teeth and said, A brat that just arrived dares to ride on my neck and steal the woman I've taken a fancy to? He must be tired of living. Seeing that He Kaishan had finally fallen into the trap, Dong Zhenjiang said with joy, Brother He, the little witch in Fang Qiong'er, it won't be easy for us to secretly attack him. I think you'd better challenge him directly. Even if you don't kill him, just destroy his cultivation, so that he can't hook up with women in the future. He Kaishan was not in a hurry to speak. He paced around the room with a gloomy expression, and then said, Qin Haodong is just a freshman who just came to the academy, and I'm one of the top 10 experts in the academy. If I challenge him, it'll be like flattering him. I can't do that, Dong Zhenjiang said. But Brother He, it won't be easy if you don't pass the challenge. You know the rules of our Xuanwu Academy. Private fights are strictly forbidden. Once you're caught, you'll be severely punished even if you don't get expelled. We just lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. He Kaishan said, The academy has its rules, but I have my ways. Sometimes, you don't have to use force to solve problems. You can use your brain. Dong Zhenhai asked, Brother He, do you have a good idea? Doesn't he like women? Then let's give him a woman. He Kaishan looked at Dong Zhenhai and said, No woman in our academy is more sexy than your girlfriend, Hu Mei. You can ask her to seduce Qin Haodong. What? How can I do that? Absolutely not. Dong Zhenhai's expression changed greatly. If he could beat He Kaishan, he would have fallen out with him. Wasn't it obvious that He Kaishan was making him a cuckold? Brother Dong, don't worry. Listen to me slowly, He Kaishan said with a gloomy expression. I'm not asking you to really send a woman to that guy's bed. You just need to seduce him into the room, then tear your clothes, and we'll catch him together. At that time, even if the little witch and Dean Luo want to protect that guy, they won't be able to do it. We can directly expel him from our Black Tortoise Academy. As long as he's not a student of our academy, he'll be a piece of meat on the chopping board. We can do whatever we want. This, Dong Zhenhai was still a little hesitant. His girlfriend, Hu Mei, was really sexy and flirtatious. He usually couldn't stand it, but now he actually asked Hu Mei to take the initiative to seduce a man. He still felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. He Kaishan said, Brother Dong, you don't have to worry. We'll always be guarding outside. Are you afraid of being at a disadvantage? Dong Zhenjiang followed and said, Yes, brother. We'll always be guarding outside. Sister-in-law will definitely not be at a disadvantage. Brother, he has a good idea. Once it succeeds, we can drive that guy surnamed Qin out of Black Tortoise Academy. Dong Zhenhai thought for a moment, and agreed that it was true. He wouldn't be cuckolded if he watched outside. He gritted his teeth and said, "Well, let's do as brother he says." But then he said, "But who may or doesn't know Qin Haodong at all? I'm afraid that guy won't fall for it if we rashly seduce him." Hikaishan said, "That's easy. Isn't Humayer a third-grade alchemist? When the time comes, we'll ask Qin Haodong to help her with alchemy. No matter what the guy says, we'll agree to it. At most, we'll promise him more spirit stones. As long as we trick him into coming home, we can do whatever we want." "That's a good idea." The two quickly praised. "Brother He, I only knew that your cultivation was high, but I didn't expect you to be so good at scheming. You even thought of this." Hikaishan smiled proudly and said, "Sometimes brains are more useful than cultivation. Let's hurry up and do it now." Dong Junhai said, "Okay, I'll go find Humayer now." They had thought of a proper way, but they didn't notice a black shadow rushing away outside the room. Qin Haodong refined a furnace of nature elixir, and then a furnace of healing elixir. Then, he walked out of the alchemy room with Zhao Xingyue. As soon as he went out, he saw Luo Hongying rushing in from outside with an excited face. "Little brother, give me something delicious. I have important news to tell you." Qin Haodong had no choice but to take out 2 sticks of candied haws from his storage ring, and gave them to Zhao Xingyue and the little demon girl. "Little brother, you have so many delicious things. I don't want to leave you for the rest of my life." The little demon girl took the candied haws and ate one. Then she said, "Guess what I just did?" "Where did you go?" "How would I know?" Qin Haodong said, "If you have any news, tell me quickly. Don't play the lawsuit anymore." The little demon girl giggled and said, "Actually, I just went to find the 2 guys surnamed Dong. I wanted to put something in their food and let them suffer a little to vent my anger. But I didn't expect that the 2 guys didn't eat at home. They went to find Hikaishan together. I followed them and happened to hear that they wanted to deal with you." Qin Haodong raised his eyebrows and asked, "Haven't they suffered enough? Is it not enough to be fined more than 2,000 spirit stones? This time, they are playing tricks and want to use the academy to drive you out." The little demon girl told Qin Haodong about the plan discussed by Hikaishan and the others from beginning to end. Finally, she said angrily, "Little brother, look at how vicious their tricks are. They actually came up with such a method." Zhao Xingyue was shocked and said nervously, "Brother Qin, why don't we go out and hide, or lock the door of the courtyard and don't let them in?" Qin Haodong was speechless. What was the use of locking the door when trouble came? This girl was at the middle stage of the void refining stage, and was considered a master in the academy. How could she not have the courage to come out? Moreover, the plan of Hikaishan and the others was nothing in Qin Haodong's eyes. Wasn't this the Badger game on Earth? This kind of thing had happened too many times in the past, so there was nothing new at all. Seeing that he didn't speak, the little demon girl thought that he was afraid. She said, "Little brother, do you want me to find Grandpa to deal with them?" Qin Haodong said, "No need. There is no need to trouble your grandpa for such a small matter. Besides, they haven't done anything now. Even if you find Dean Luo, it's useless." The little demon girl said, "Little brother, what are you going to do?" A sneer appeared at the corner of Qin Haodong's mouth. He had 5,000 years of Huaxia culture in his head. He had seen all kinds of conspiracies and tricks. How dare they play Badger game with him? He said to the little demon girl, "Do you want to play a game with them?" Luo Hongying said excitedly, "Okay, little brother, I'll do whatever you want me to do, even if I secretly kill them." Qin Haodong was speechless. Of the 2 girls around him, one was fearless and bold, while the other was pitifully timid and did not dare to do anything. "Here's my plan. Later, you will do as I say." In order to prevent Zhao Xingyue from getting nervous, Qin Haodong whispered his plan in Luo Hongying's ear. "It's so fun. Little brother, you are so smart. I really admire you." The little she-devil turned her head and kissed Qin Haodong on the cheek again. Qin Haodong wiped the candied haws on his face and said, "You little girl, don't always secretly take advantage of me, okay?" The little demon girl giggled and said, "Hee hee, I can't help it." At this moment, there was a knock on the door and a charming voice called out, Qin Haodong, are you there? Qin Haodong opened the door and looked out. He saw a woman in a blue school uniform coming in. After seeing this woman, Qin Haodong's expression changed. When he was on Earth, people often compared some women with exaggerated figures to the Huaxia version of Kardashian. The woman in front of him was just like that. Her breasts and buttocks were a little too big, which made people speechless. At the same time, there was a charming smile on her face. No matter how you looked at her, she did not look like a quiet woman. After looking at her, he said, "Senior sister, I am Qin Haodong. What can I do for you?" The woman's eyes lit up when she saw Qin Haodong's handsome face. "Junior brother, let me introduce myself. My name is Hu Mei, a third-year student of our Black Tortoise College, and I am also an alchemist. I heard that you are very good at alchemy and have already taken the 5th grade alchemist's medal. So I want to ask you to give me some advice on alchemy. What do you think?" Chapter 881. As she spoke, she took 2 steps forward and gave Qin Haodong a very subtle wink. Then she straightened her already extremely plump chest. Qin Haodong said, "In fact, I don't know much about alchemy, let alone guidance." Zhao Xingyue had heard He Kaishan's plan before, so she quickly followed and said, "Yes, in fact, Brother Qin doesn't know much about alchemy. Let's not go." While they were talking, Hu Mei's eyes kept jumping on Qin Haodong's body. She thought to herself, "This little handsome guy is handsome enough, but he is not tall, otherwise he would be perfect. Junior, don't be too modest. I heard that you just took the 5th grade alchemist's medal today. If you are not proficient in alchemy, how can you have such a high achievement? I just want you to do me a favor. You won't refuse, will you?" While speaking, she twisted her sexy body to Qin Haodong's side, and her chest rubbed against his arm a few times. Looking at her exaggerated curves, Qin Haodong's eyes flashed with a look of obsession. And then he said, "You can go, but my fee is a little high." "Junior, do you have to charge for helping me?" Qin Haodong said, "Of course, I have to pay at least 500 top-grade spirit stones for each time I go out to give advice, no less." Hu Mei widened her eyes and said, "Junior, isn't your fee a little too high?" Qin Haodong said, "Senior, an alchemist's time is money. If I have time to refine a furnace of elixirs, I'm afraid it will cost more than 500 top-grade spirit stones. Then I will still lose money." Seeing that he was asking for an exorbitant price, Hu Mei sneered in her heart. "When you fall into our trap, you will have to spit out all the money." Thinking of this, she said coquettishly, "Well, as long as you are willing to help, I will take the money." Then she took out 500 top-grade spirit stones and put them on the table in front of Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong put the money away with a smile and said, "Well, since you sincerely invite me, I will go with you." Hu Mei smiled and said, "Since you have accepted the money, you must give me good advice. It must be worth it." Qin Haodong was right. "Don't worry, senior sister. Wait for me. I'll go back to my room to change clothes and go with you." After saying that, he turned around and entered the bedroom. The little she-devil also skipped along with him. Hu Mei sat down on a chair. Knowing that Hu Mei did not come with good intentions, although Zhao Xingyue did not hide in the room, she turned her head away and did not speak to Hu Mei. Hu Mei sat there and waited for about 10 minutes before she saw Qin Haodong walk out of the room. Hu Mei stood up and half-jokingly said, "Junior brother, you sure took a long time to change." Qin Haodong chuckled and said, "I have to dress up carefully when I go out with such a beautiful girl, or I will be laughed at. Junior brother sure knows how to talk." Hu Mei took Qin Haodong's arm, and they left together, heading to her dormitory. Looking at their backs, Zhao Xingyue stamped her feet fiercely. But since Qin Haodong wanted to go, there was nothing she could do. Hu Mei took Qin Haodong to her dormitory and secretly made a gesture of success to the corner. Then they walked into the room together. After entering the door, Qin Haodong looked around and looked at the empty table. He said with some dissatisfaction, "Senior sister, don't you have anything delicious here?" "Delicious?" Hu Mei was slightly stunned and said, "That, junior brother, I really don't have anything to eat here. It's boring without food," Qin Haodong said. If you have any questions, ask quickly. Humayer said. Junior brother, when I was refining the second-grade elixir, Yang Rising Pill, the furnace often exploded. What's going on? She invited Qin Haodong over today with a special purpose, but this was also a problem that had been bothering her for a long time in alchemy. Qin Haodong said, This question is so difficult. How would I know if you ask me? Humayer said in surprise, Junior brother, you are now a 5th-grade alchemist. Isn't it very easy for you to refine second-grade elixirs? Qin Haodong waved his hand and said, I can refine elixirs, but I'm not good at answering questions. I don't know the answer to this question. Humayer said, Junior brother, how can you do this? You took 500 top-grade spirit stones from me. Qin Haodong said with a smile. I just took the money to accompany you here. I didn't say that I could answer any question. Then he stood up and was about to leave. Junior brother, don't go. Humayer stood up and stood in front of Qin Haodong. She clung to his chest and said, Junior brother, you are so handsome. You can't refine elixirs, but you must know a little about other things, right? Otherwise, my 500 top-grade spirit stones would have been spent in vain. Qin Haodong did not understand and asked, Senior sister, what do you mean? Of course, the things that all men think about. Humayer winked and said in a sweet voice, Junior brother, do you think I'm beautiful? Qin Haodong said, Not bad. Junior brother, your taste is really high. Humayer did not expect Qin Haodong to give her such an evaluation, and then said, Is a woman beautiful? How can you see it with clothes on? Come here, I'll give you a good look. Then she pulled Qin Haodong to the bed, and then pushed him down on the bed. She tore her clothes into tatters and then shouted at the top of her voice, Come on, someone is molesting me. Someone is molesting me. Senior sister, don't shout. I didn't do anything to you. Qin Haodong seemed to be frightened by her. He plunged into the corner of the bed and covered himself with the quilt, shivering. He Kaishan, Dong Junhai and others had been waiting outside for a long time. Dong Junhai in particular was afraid that his woman would suffer if he came in late. He kicked the door open and rushed in from the outside with others. Humayer, what's going on? Who bullied you? Dong Junhai said angrily. It's him. I invited him to teach me alchemy, but he wanted to molest me after he came in. He tore my clothes just now. Brother Hai, you must help me. People say that women are born to be actors, and this saying was amply proven by Humayer. Although it was just an act, as she spoke, she cried like a pear blossom in the rain, as if she had suffered a great grievance. He Kaishan looked in Qin Haodong's direction, and saw that Qin Haodong had buried himself in the quilt, and was shivering. He Kaishan could not help but smile contemptuously. He wondered why Feng Qiunger would fall for such a coward. Dong Junhai had suffered 2 losses in succession in Qin Haodong's hands, and had lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. At this moment, he was about to step forward and hit Qin Haodong, but was stopped by He Kaishan. Brother Dong, don't worry. It's better to let the college deal with people like him. He also winked at Dong Junhai, implying that this guy had a relationship with Dean Luo Dongqing. Once he hit Dong Junhai, it would be hard to say what would happen. Dong Junhai also understood the key point, so he snorted angrily. At this time, Dong Junjiang came in from outside with a middle-aged man about 50 years old. It was Wu Taicheng, who was on duty at night. Since He Kaishan and the others were prepared, they had already found out who was on duty tonight. After hearing Humayer's cry, He Kaishan and Dong Junhai rushed in, and Dong Junjiang directly went to call for help. In their view, now that there was irrefutable evidence, it would be difficult for the college to protect Qin Haodong, and he would definitely be kicked out of the college. As long as Qin Haodong was not a student of Black Tortoise Academy, they could do whatever they wanted. Mr. Wu, it's her. Stinky hooligan molested me. You must help me. After seeing Wu Taicheng, Humayer once again displayed her acting to the fullest. As if she had suffered a great grievance, she cried with snot and tears all over her face. Wu Taicheng asked, Don't cry. Tell me clearly what happened. Dong Junhai also said with grief and indignation, Mr. Wu, this guy is a new student of the college. I heard that he got the 5th grade alchemist's medal. My girlfriend is also an alchemist, so I want to ask him for advice. But he not only charged us 500 top-grade spirit stones as tuition, but also came here to molest my girlfriend. You must punish him strictly according to the school rules." Wu Tietching's face was gloomy. If what Dong Junhai said was true, this person must be expelled according to the management rules of Black Tortoise Academy. But as a teacher, he also had to ask about the situation before making a decision. He called to the person on the bed. "Student, I'm the teacher on duty in our school. Please come out and talk." "Uncle Wu, you're here. You scared me to death." The person jumped out of the bed, took Wu Tietching's arm and cried, "Uncle Wu, you're here. You must help me." "Hongying, why are you here?" Wu Taiching was shocked when he saw the person's appearance. It was Luo Hongying, Dean Luo's granddaughter. He Kaishan, Dong Zhenjiang, Dong Zhenhai, and Hu Mei were completely stunned. Wasn't this person Qin Haodong? How did he become a woman in the blink of an eye? And it was the little witch that everyone was afraid of. Luo Hongying said pitifully, "Uncle Wu, I met Sister Hu Mei tonight. She said she would treat me to something delicious, so she took me to her place. But there was nothing delicious at all. She wanted me to accompany her boyfriend. I didn't agree, so I shouted for help. You must help me." Hearing the little beauty's words, He Kaishan, Dong Zhenhai and others were at a loss. Things had gone completely beyond their expectations. As a teacher of Black Tortoise Academy, Wu Taiching naturally knew the little witch's character. He knew that this girl must be playing a prank again. Things would never be as simple as she said. Even if Hu Mei was crazy, she wouldn't dare to force her to accompany her boyfriend. But now that things had happened, he naturally wouldn't find fault with the little witch. This girl was not only the dean's granddaughter, but also the extremely protective old lady. Behind her couldn't be provoked. Moreover, the words of Dong Zhenjiang and others were unreliable. Luo Hongying was a girl. Even if she liked to fool around, it was impossible for her to molest Hu Mei. He said to them with a sullen face, "You guys explain things clearly. Didn't you say that someone wanted to molest Hu Mei? Could it be Luo Hongying?" The four people present looked at each other, completely dumbfounded. Their plan was flawless, but they didn't expect it to develop like this. Looking at their dumbfounded expressions, a trace of craftiness flashed in the little she-devil's eyes as she called out again. "Uncle Wu, you see, they have nothing to say. You must help me get justice and chase these bad people out of Black Tortoise Institute." Chapter 882. Although Wu Taiching knew that there was a hidden story behind the matter, he still wanted to stand on the side of the little witch. After all, she was the granddaughter of the headmaster and had a powerful background. These people could only blame themselves for being blind. They could have provoked anyone, but they had to provoke this little witch. He turned to look at them and said coldly, "Tell me, what the hell is going on? Student Luo Hongying is just a girl. How could she be brought here by you? Moreover, you even yelled that she was being molested. Do you know how bad this kind of behavior is?" The four of them were dumbfounded. He Kaishan couldn't care less now. He said first, "Mr. Wu, I don't know what's going on. I just followed Dong Zhenhai to take a look. This matter has nothing to do with me." As an outstanding student of the school, and one of the top 10 experts, Dong Zhenhai naturally didn't want to be expelled from the school. He said, "Mr. Wu, I actually don't know what's going on. What I just told you was what Sister Hu told me. This matter has nothing to do with me." Seeing that the two of them began to shirk responsibility, Dong Zhenjiang naturally didn't want to get himself involved. He said, "Mr. Wu, I actually don't know what's going on. I just heard someone calling for help, so I went to call you." Among the four of them, 3 of them said they didn't know anything. Wu Taiching looked at Hu Mei coldly. Seeing the 3 of them running faster than the other, Hu Mei's lungs were about to explode from anger. "It was clearly your idea. This old lady helped you. But now that something has happened, you sold this old lady out. If I die, we all die together." She said, "Mr. Wu, I'll tell you the truth now. The whole thing was He Kaishan's idea. Dong Zhenhai asked me to do it. Dong Zhenjiang is also an important part. They are the masterminds. I was just forced by them." "Nonsense." When did I come up with an idea? I'm innocent. I don't know what's going on. I was just passing by. I heard someone calling for help, so I called the teacher. Don't slander me. For a moment, the four of them pushed the blame to each other and quarreled. At this moment, the door opened, and Qin Haodong walked in with Zhao Xingyue. The whole thing was planned by him. After knowing that He Kaishan and the others were going to perform a badger jump on him, he started to make preparations. When Hu Mei entered the door, she used the bone shrinking technique to change her height. When he entered the room to change his clothes, he used the transfiguration technique to change the appearance of the little she-devil, allowing her to disguise herself as him to come here. That was how the scene that happened later happened. When Hu Mei called for help, the little demoness buried her head in the blanket and used medicine to wash away the disguise on her face, returning to her original appearance. When Hu Taiching arrived, he turned the whole thing 360 degrees, according to the words that Qin Haodong had taught him in advance. He changed the whole thing from the blackmailed party to the blackmailed party. After entering the door, Qin Haodong asked the little witch with concern, "Hongying, are you okay?" "Little big brother, they bullied me. They actually wanted me to do that kind of thing with them." The little witch suddenly threw herself into Qin Haodong's arms, looking aggrieved. She whispered in his ear, "I did a good job, didn't I? You must cook something delicious for me." Qin Haodong patted her on the shoulder, indicating that he would definitely reward her. Then, with a face full of indignation, he said to Wu Taiching, "Mr. Wu, our Black Tortoise Academy is the most famous academy in the Lingwu continent. How could this happen? These scumbags actually laid their hands on such a cute little girl. They must be punished severely." Was the little witch cute? He Kaishan and the others' hearts were about to break. Usually, everyone avoided her when they went out. Who would have the guts to lay their hands on her? Dong Junhai seemed to understand something. He shouted angrily, "Qin Haodong, this is all you're doing, isn't it?" Qin Haodong said innocently, "I don't know what you're talking about. I just heard that Hongying was taken away by a stranger, so I rushed to have a look. I was afraid that such a naive girl would be taken advantage of by the bad guys. I didn't expect you to be up to no good." Hearing that she was repeatedly praised as cute and naive, the little witch secretly gave Qin Haodong a thumbs up. Obviously, she was very satisfied with what he said. "All right, stop quarreling." As a teacher of the academy, Wu Taiching had already guessed most of the matter. Basically, He Kaishan and the others wanted to set up Qin Haodong, but they were set up by the young man in front of them. However, it was done flawlessly, without leaving any flaws. With the little witch on his side, he naturally knew how to deal with it. He looked coldly at He Kaishan and the others. "As students of Black Tortoise Academy, you actually ignored the rules of the academy and conspired against your own junior sister. How do you think you should be punished?" He Kaishan hurriedly cried, "Mr. Wu, we're wronged. We really didn't conspire against Luo Hongying." Dong Junhai cried, "Yes, Mr. Wu, we usually stay as far away from Luo Hongying as possible. How dare we lay our hands on her? She's the little witch of our school. Who dares to provoke her?" Now that things had come to this, he couldn't care less and directly called out Luo Hongying's nickname. "The facts are right here. Do you still want to deny it?" Wu Taiching said coldly, "Anyway, what happened today is your fault. If you want to be lenient, you'd better get Luo Hongying's forgiveness first. Otherwise, I'll have to kick you out of the academy." As an experienced teacher, he naturally knew how to deal with this matter. He Kaishan and Dong Junhai were both excellent students of the academy. The competition between the North and South academies was about to begin. If he really expelled both of them, it would definitely cause a huge loss to his side. Furthermore, this matter was not as simple as it seemed. Just like what they had said, this little demoness usually caused chaos in the entire academy. Who would dare to take the initiative to provoke her, let alone attempt to molest her? As long as one was mentally sound, they would not do such a thing. Because of these two considerations, he adopted a compromise to deal with it. He would not only give Luo Hongying an explanation, but also not kick these people out of the academy. He Kaishan was also a very smart person. He immediately understood Wu Tiecheng's intention. To properly deal with this matter, the key was to satisfy the little witch. He immediately lowered his head and said, "Junior sister, I'm sorry. This is our fault. Please forgive us." Dong Junhai, Dong Junjiang, and Humayer also knew that it was impossible to fool the little witch, so they immediately apologized to her. "I'm so scared. I'm almost scared to death by you. I'll listen to my little brother on how to deal with this matter. I'll do whatever he says." Luo Hongying found it very interesting to be praised as naive and cute. She immediately pretended to be cute and lay in his arms like a little bird. Wu Taiching was very surprised. As a teacher of the academy, he had watched Luo Hongying grow up. Naturally, he knew what kind of character this little witch had. She had always been lawless and had the support of an extremely protective old lady. No one in the entire academy could control her, not even the dean Luo Dongqing. Now, she was obedient to the young man in front of him. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would never have believed it. He Kaishan looked at Qin Haodong again and knew that he had underestimated this opponent. He said, "Tell me your conditions." Qin Haodong smiled slightly and said, "Since we're all classmates of the same academy, and there are no serious consequences, there's no need to drive you all out of Black Tortoise Academy. How about this? You take out some money to comfort Hongying's wounded heart, and I'll let this matter go." After listening to what he said, the faces of the four people on the other side became extremely ugly. Comfort a wounded soul? Aren't we the ones who are hurt? If you want to blackmail us, just say it. Why do you have to say it in such a dignified way? Dong Junhai gritted his teeth angrily, but he knew that today's matter would not be settled without compensation. He said, "How much do you want?" Qin Haodong said, "We're all classmates. Just take some money. Let's make it 2,000 top-grade spirit stones." What the hell? The four people on the opposite side almost vomited blood. Qin Haodong had already cheated them of 500 spirit stones, plus the 2,000 spirit stones, a total of 2,500 top-grade spirit stones, which was not a small number in the entire Black Tortoise Academy. Dong Junjiang cried, "Qin Haodong, aren't you blackmailing us? Isn't it a bit too much?" Qin Haodong looked at Luo Hongying in his arms and said, "They have too much spare money. Let's not ask for money." The little witch cooperated and said, "Well, Uncle Wu, just expel the four of them." He Kaishan didn't want to make things awkward, so he hurriedly cried, "It's just 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. We'll pay." Then he looked at Dong Junhai and said, "Hurry up and pay." Dong Junhai had lost a lot since he became enemies with Qin Haodong. He had lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. Plus the 2,500 in his hand, he had almost 5,000. After running the school for so many years, it was not easy for him to save so much money, but Qin Haodong had almost emptied it. When he took out the money, his heart was bleeding. "Qin Haodong, here you are." He threw a small cloth bag with 2,500 spirit stones to Qin Haodong. "Not bad, you're welcome to make trouble for me in the future." Qin Haodong smiled proudly at the four people, then said goodbye to Wu Taiching, and left with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. Wu Taiching glared at the four people and said, "Behave yourself in the future. Why did you have to provoke the little witch?" He Kaishan and the other three people were about to die of grievance. They had planned to teach Qin Haodong a lesson, but they didn't expect that Qin Haodong would become the little witch. They didn't take the initiative to provoke her. After Wu Taiching left, Dong Junhai said bitterly, "Brother He, we can't let this matter go. Why don't we challenge him?" He Kaishan said gloomily, "Don't you understand that we have always looked down on Qin Haodong? Even if we challenge him, what's the use? If he is not sure, he can refuse us. If he agrees, are you sure you can win?" Well, Dong Junhai was speechless for a while. Since the beginning of the fight, Qin Haodong seemed to be careless, but every time, it was as if he had planned it carefully. He never suffered a loss, and took the best spirit stones from him again and again. Dong Junhai said, "Brother He, what do you think we should do? We can't just let it go like this. I can't take it lying down." He Kaishan's face flashed with a ruthless look. "Of course we can't just let it go like this. The school's freshman competition is coming soon. This guy is known as this year's freshman king, so he will definitely be among the best. According to the rules of the school, the outstanding new students will be hunted by the old students. Then our chance to take revenge will come. After listening to him, the Dong brothers' faces immediately flashed with excitement. Dong Junhai cried, "Brother, he is right. I'll see who can protect him then." Chapter 883. After leaving He Kaishin's dormitory, the little she-devil immediately giggled. "Little brother, your idea is really good. It's so fun. Let's play again sometime." Qin Haodong said, "It's enough to do this kind of thing once. If they didn't want to hurt us, we wouldn't have used this method. We can't do it again in the future." "Well, I'll listen to you." The little she-devil suddenly threw herself into Qin Haodong's arms and hung around his neck like a koala. She said with a smile, "Little brother, how was my performance today?" "Not bad. I can give you 100 points." The little she-devil said, "Is there a reward?" "Of course there is. The 2,000 top-grade spirit stones I got today are all yours," Qin Haodong said generously. Unexpectedly, the little she-devil pouted and said, "I don't know what that thing is for. It can't be eaten." "Then I have the void-breaking pill and the nature pill that I just refined. You can use them as you like," the little she-devil said. "Grandpa has already tried them for me. It's useless to take any elixir for my physique. I can't improve my cultivation at this level, so I don't want those things." Qin Haodong said, "What do you want?" The little she-devil said with a smile, "Don't you know? Of course I want delicious food. Hurry up and give me delicious food." Zhao Xingyue had been standing quietly and did not speak. But every time Qin Haodong gave the little she-devil food, she would have a share. Although she was not a full foodie like the little she-devil, she also liked delicious food. Qin Haodong's food was so delicious that she could not resist it at all. "Well, this is for you," Qin Haodong said as he took out 2 Wangwang gift bags from the storage ring and gave one to each of the 2 girls. Fortunately, he had prepared enough snacks for her before, or he would not be able to satisfy the delicious little she-devil. "Thank you, little brother. Come to me if you have such things in the future. I promise you will be satisfied." The little she-devil took the Wangwang gift bag, took out a snow cake and stuffed it into her mouth. Then she ate it happily. She ate very quickly, and by the time they strolled back to the dorm, she had already eaten most of the Wangwang gift bags in her hands. "Little brother, why do you have so many delicious food? I love you to death," the little she-devil said as she jumped onto the bed. "From today onwards, I'm officially staying here. No one can chase me away." It was originally a single dormitory, but now 2 beauties squeezed in. One was timid and didn't dare to leave, and the other was greedy for food and didn't want to leave. Qin Haodong smiled bitterly. He didn't know when he would sleep on the floor. He said, "Have you told your grandfather that you're going to stay with me?" The little witch said, "There's no need to greet him. I'm free. I can live wherever I want." "Is this appropriate?" "Suitable, very suitable. Anyway, you can't chase me away." After saying that, the little witch skipped into the bathroom and took a simple shower. Then, she walked out in her sexy spaghetti strap pajamas. "Little brother, do you think I'm pretty?" She grabbed Qin Haodong's arm and jumped up again. Qin Haodong quickly pressed her shoulder and said, "Stop jumping. You're making me dizzy." This girl had a beautiful and adorable baby face, but she was born with a devilish figure. This huge contrast was enough to make any man's heart beat endlessly. Coupled with such a continuous jump, anyone would feel dizzy under the undulating undulations. "Okay, I won't jump. I'm going to sleep." The little witch and Zhao Xingyue climbed onto the bed together. The 3 of them were ready to sleep, but suddenly, she poked her little head out and said, "Little brother, are you lonely sleeping on the floor alone? Why don't you get on the bed too? Anyway, this bed is big enough, so the 3 of us won't be crowded." I'm fine here. You guys go to sleep." It sounded very tempting to share a bed, but Qin Haodong knew the pain in it. Lying with such 2 beautiful women, and not being able to do anything was definitely crueler than the top 10 tortures of the Qing dynasty. It was better to sleep on the floor. The next morning, the 3 of them had breakfast. The two girls went to school as usual. Qin Haodong went to the medicine sales hall of the pharmacist union alone. He took out the pills he had refined yesterday and sold them. Then he bought a large number of medicinal materials. The last time he broke through to the middle stage of the void refinement stage. He used a total of 6,000 top-grade crystal stones. At this level of cultivation, each promotion required a lot of spiritual qi, so he had to prepare enough spirit stones before he dared to break through to the late stage of the void refinement stage. After purchasing the medicinal materials, he had just left the door of the pharmacist union when a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. It was Luo Dongqing, the deputy dean of the Black Tortoise Academy. After seeing Qin Haodong, he shouted, "Boy, don't go. I have something to talk to you about." "Dean Luo, you didn't drink up that box of wine so quickly, did you?" Although there was a lot of wine in Qin Haodong's storage ring, it couldn't hold the old man's drinking. No, I still have some wine. I can't bear to drink so quickly," Luo Dongqing said. "I have something else to talk to you about," Qin Haodong said with a smile. "If you have something to say, just say it. I'm a very easy person to talk to. As long as you give me enough spirit stones, I'll do anything." "You little brat, you're really thinking about money." Luo Dongqing seemed to be a little embarrassed and said, "It's not convenient to talk here. Let's talk in my office." After that, he took Qin Haodong to his dean's office. This time, he made a restriction in the room, looking extremely careful. Qin Haodong asked in surprise, "Dean Luo, what are you going to do? Are you going to kill me and rob my bar?" Luo Dongqing glared at him fiercely. "Do you think I'm a robber? Besides, if I dared to touch even a finger of yours, that damned girl Hong Ying would definitely fight me to the death." Qin Haodong asked, "Then what are you going to do?" Luo Dongqing didn't answer his question. Instead he asked, "I've heard about what happened last night. You asked Hong Ying to dress up as you and extort a lot of money from He Kaishan. Is that true?" "That's true." Qin Haodong had been prepared for this. He knew very well that Wu Taiqing would definitely report to Luo Dongqing the next day. He added, "But don't worry. I was following Hong Ying at that time. I promise no one will hurt her." Luo Dongqing said, "Hurt her? I'm not worried about that. In Black Tortoise Academy, it's good that she doesn't hurt others." Qin Haodong asked in confusion, "Then what do you mean by mentioning this?" He originally thought that Luo Dongqing was going to denounce him, but now it seemed that it was not the case. I, Luo Dongqing stammered for a long time. Finally, as if he had made a great decision, he suddenly became pitiful. He took Qin Haodong's hand and said, "I want to ask you for a favor. As long as you can help me with this, I'll do anything you want me to do in the future." Qin Haodong asked inexplicably, "Dean Luo, in terms of status, I'm just a new student. You're the deputy dean of Black Tortoise Academy. In terms of cultivation, you're a master at the peak of the form synthesis realm, and I've just stepped into the void training realm. The gap between us is so big. What can I help you with?" "Alas, little Qin, although I'm a deputy dean on the surface and look very glorious, in fact, I've been suffering for so many years." Luo Dongqing sighed and said, "Although we can't wash our dirty linen in public, I still have to tell you about this. I've been driven out by my wife for a full 10 years. Now, she not only doesn't let me go to bed, but also doesn't allow me to step into the house." When Qin Haodong heard this, he couldn't help but laugh. "Old man, I already know about your matter. Hong Ying told me yesterday. No wonder this old man sealed the whole room. It turned out that he was afraid that others would hear his embarrassing things." Luo Dongqing's old face turned red. "That stinky girl, she actually said everything. In fact, it's really not my fault back then. Although that female teacher has always been interested in me, I have never done anything wrong to my wife. It's just that I drank too much that day. I don't know how I was brought home by her, but I was caught red-handed by my wife." Qin Haodong said, "Dean Luo, as long as there's anything I can help you with, please feel free to tell me." Luo Dongqing said, "Little Qin, my wife's character is a bit strange. She's usually so stubborn that I can't do anything about it. That stinky girl Hong Ying's character is 80% like the old woman's. The two of them are very similar. These years, the whole Black Tortoise Academy has been in a mess, and no one can deal with her. But yesterday, I found that the girl is very obedient to you. She just listens to whatever you say. Is there any trick to it? Can you teach me? As long as you can let me go home, I'll even worship you as my teacher. Chin Haodong suddenly realized that this old man wanted to learn how to pick up women from him, so that he could conquer his family's lion. He said, Dean Luo, it's not that I don't want to help you, but I rely entirely on my personal charm. You can't learn it. Luo Dongqing grabbed Chin Haodong's hand and said, Little Chin, I beg you, you must help me today. You don't know that my old woman looks like a fairy, and there are countless men chasing after her all day long. I'm afraid that if too much time passes, the two of them will really drift apart, and then it will be irreparable. Chin Haodong secretly laughed. The old man said it euphemistically, but in the end, he was afraid that he would be cuckolded. Beauty was really in the eye of the beholder. Luo Hongying's grandmother must be an old woman in her 70s or 80s. How beautiful could she be? Well, for the sake of the little girl, I'll help you this time. Seeing that the old man was really pitiful, Chin Haodong decided to help him. Seeing that he agreed, Luo Dongqing immediately smiled and said, Thank you, little Chin. Thank you so much. When you marry Luo Hongying in the future, I will not object. Old man, I never said I would marry your granddaughter. It doesn't matter whether you marry her or not, as long as you are happy. Luo Dongqing was now worshipping Chin Haodong like a bodhisattva. With a flattering face, she poured a glass of water and put it in front of him. Little Chin, drink some water. Chin Haodong said, In fact, it's very easy to get your wife back. There are two main ways. The first is to cater to her and make her happy. The second is to change your image and make her look at you with admiration. Luo Dongqing was like a schooled primary school student. She nodded frequently and said, Little Chin, I understand the reason, but I have thought of many ways to make her happy. She hasn't forgiven me until now. Chin Haodong asked, What else can I do? What else can I do? I just chase after her every day to apologize and explain the truth over and over again. Chin Haodong said with a shocked face, It's been 10 years, and you've been doing this? Don't you have any other tricks? Chapter 884. Luo Dongqing said with a dumbfounded expression, What else can I do? Chin Haodong said helplessly, You're so stubborn. It's good enough that she's not annoyed to death by you. How could she let you in? Luo Dongqing quickly said modestly, Little Chin, can you teach me what I should do? Cater to what she likes, not be shameless. Chin Haodong asked, You even have a granddaughter. Don't you know what your wife likes? Luo Dongqing scratched his head and said, She hates me drinking the most. It's hard to say what she likes. Chin Haodong said angrily, If I were a woman, I wouldn't let a man like you sleep with me. Oh, I remember. She likes singing and listening to songs. Chin Haodong said, That's right. Since she likes listening to songs, then let her listen to them. Luo Dongqing said, But I can't sing at all. I can't let the students who are good at singing sing for her often. Can I? I have something good here. Take it. Chin Haodong said as he took out an MP3 player from the storage ring. This was a gift from Ouyang Shanshan. It recorded every song of Ouyang Shanshan. Originally, he had made a dozen copies and wanted to give one to each of his family. However, he came to the Lingwu continent before he could distribute them. Now he took out one and gave it to Luo Dongqing and taught him how to use it. Luo Dongqing cried excitedly, Little Chin, where did you get it? It's really a divine artifact. There's someone singing in it, and she sings so well. My wife will love it very much. You can give it to her. She won't let you go home and sleep with her, but at least she'll leave a good impression on you. Luo Dongqing nodded repeatedly. He seemed to have seen his wife open the door of their home for him. Chin Haodong said, And you have to change the way you call her. You can't always call her old woman. Luo Dongqing asked in surprise, You're so old. What else can I call her if not old woman? Chin Haodong said, Call her darling. If you can't, call her wife. Anyway, you can't call her that old. Women care about age the most. You have to remember that she will always be young in your heart. Oh, oh, Luo Dongqing nodded. Qin Haodong added. And you have to change your image. You can't always be so sloppy, especially that wine gourd on your back. Are you afraid that others won't know that you are a drunkard? Why do you always carry it on your back? Even if you want to drink it, you have to put it in your storage ring. Got it. I'll put it away right away. Luo Dongqing obediently put his iconic wine gourd into his storage ring. Qin Haodong looked at him again and said, Your image is not good. You have to change it, or you will look too old-fashioned. Luo Dongqing said reluctantly, Little Qin, is it really necessary? Of course, unless you don't want to go home again. Change, I have to change, Luo Dongqing said immediately. What image do you think I should change into? You don't have to worry about it. Just do as I say, Qin Haodong said as he took out a pair of scissors and quickly cut Luo Dongqing's messy hair into a crew cut. When he was in Jiangnan University, several of his roommates were not very well off. In order to save money on haircuts, they bought a pair of scissors and cut each other's hair. Therefore, Qin Haodong's haircutting skills were quite good. After that, he shaved Luo Dongqing's beard with a knife. Not bad. You look much younger. Qin Haodong thought of something and took out an Armani suit, a white shirt, and a pair of black leather shoes from his storage ring. He threw them to Luo Dongqing and said, Change into these clothes. When he came here, he ransacked the warehouse of the entire alien demon. The high-level alien demons were used to transforming into human forms, so they naturally prepared a lot of human clothes. In order to adapt to this continent, it was not suitable for him to wear this kind of clothes, but he didn't mind giving it to the deputy dean of the Black Tortoise Academy. Luo Dongqing looked at it and said, Can I wear these clothes? Why not? Try it on and you'll know, Qin Haodong said as he took off Luo Dongqing's shabby robe, stained with the smell of alcohol. Then he helped him put on the shirt, suit, and the pair of black leather shoes. Clothes make the man, and the Buddha makes the gold. The originally sloppy old man immediately became much more spirited after this tidying up. No wonder the female teacher fell in love with him. It turned out that this old man was also quite handsome. Luo Dongqing stood in front of the bronze mirror and looked at himself. He felt that the person in the mirror was completely different. He asked with some uncertainty, Little Qin, will this work? Qin Haodong patted him on the shoulder and said, Trust me, it will definitely work. Then he took out a large bouquet of roses from his storage ring and stuffed it into Luo Dongqing's hand. Take this. Send flowers and gifts first. Don't take the initiative to mention going home. When the time comes, your wife will naturally invite you back. Luo Dongqing asked, Your divine artifact is really good, but what's the use of these flowers? They can't be eaten or drunk. Will she like it? Qin Haodong looked at him with disdain. I don't know how a rude man like you got a wife. Just do as I say. Okay, I got it. At this time, Luo Dongqing did not dare to disobey Qin Haodong at all. He nodded repeatedly. Go ahead. I'll wait for your good news later. They left the office together. Luo Dongqing went to find his wife with flowers nervously. Qin Haodong returned to his dormitory. After returning, he went directly to the alchemy room, took out the elixirs he had bought, and began to make elixirs again. The two elixirs he was making this time were a little different. One was called the Big Yuan Explosion Elixir, and the other was called the Small Yuan Explosion Elixir. The Big Yuan Explosion Elixir, as the name suggested, could burn one's own essence and improve one's cultivation instantly. The Small Yuan Explosion Elixir could improve one's cultivation by a small level. He was now at the middle stage of the Void Training stage. If he took the Small Yuan Explosion Elixir, he could instantly reach the late stage of the Void Training stage. The effect of the Big Yuan Explosion Elixir was even more obvious. If he took a Big Yuan Explosion Elixir, his cultivation would instantly reach the middle stage of the Body Integration stage, and he would be able to kill opponents at a higher level. Of course, there was a price to pay. Depending on the situation, there would be a period of weakness after using it. Even so, this kind of elixir was extremely difficult to make. It belonged to the category of 6th grade elixirs. Although he had the intention before, he did not have the ability to make it. About 2 hours later, the rich fragrance of elixirs filled the alchemy room. 9 black big yuan explosion elixirs and 9 red small yuan explosion elixirs lay quietly in the jade bottle in his hand. Qin Haodong was not going to sell these 2 elixirs. Instead, he kept them in his storage ring in case he needed them. As soon as he finished making elixirs, the door opened. The little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue came in from outside. Qin Haodong looked at the time. It was just noon. He asked, "Why are you back so early?" The little she-devil said, "It's lunchtime. Of course I have to come back to eat the delicious food you made. What else do you want me to eat? I can't eat the food in the cafeteria at all." Qin Haodong was speechless. It seemed that he had been blackmailed by this little girl. Did she not want to eat without him? Zhao Xingyue said, "Brother Qin, here's the thing. The teacher of our class said that this afternoon will be the first class meeting since the beginning of the school. Everyone has to be present whether they are in class or not. We came back to inform you." Qin Haodong nodded. It seemed that he had to go. Otherwise, he would not know who was in his class in the future. Qin Haodong made a sumptuous lunch for the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue. After eating, Qin Haodong took them to the classroom. This time, the Black Tortoise Academy recruited a total of 1,000 new students. They were divided into 10 classes, with 100 students in each class. Zhao Xingyue had been here for 2 days. Needless to say, the little she-devil had been in the Black Tortoise Academy for 4 years. She was very familiar with the place. The two of them took Qin Haodong's arm and walked into the classroom together. In the past 2 days, everyone had become familiar with each other. Although no one dared to provoke the little she-devil, Zhao Xingyue had become a goddess in the eyes of all the male students because of her good looks, good cultivation, and good character. Many of them had a crush on her. At this moment, they saw their goddess holding a man's arm and walking in with a friendly expression. Countless male students covered their hearts. The scene was so heartbreaking that their goddess had been taken away. Qin Haodong ignored these people and walked to the teacher on the podium. The teacher of their class was called Melinda. She was a middle-aged woman who looked quite beautiful. She was one of the most outstanding teachers in the entire academy. Qin Haodong had learned the teacher's name from the little she-devil. He stepped forward and said, "Hello, Ms. Melinda. I'm Qin Haodong, reporting for duty." Like the teachers on Earth, they were particularly fond of outstanding students. Melinda had long heard that the king of this year's enrollment was in her class. Unfortunately, she had not seen him in the past 2 days. Good. Melinda was very satisfied with Qin Haodong. She took him to stand on the podium and said to the students under the stage, "Everyone, I'd like to introduce Qin Haodong, the king of this year's students. He is also the most outstanding one in our class. I've decided that from today on, Qin Haodong will be the chief senior of our class. When I'm not here in the future, he will decide the affairs of the class." After she said this, there was a sudden uproar under the stage. No wonder other classes had chosen the chief senior these days, but only their class was empty. It turned out that it was reserved for this person. After Melinda announced the decision, the female students, led by the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue, began to applaud warmly. Everyone was full of affection for this handsome king of newcomers. However, most of the male students were extremely unconvinced. This guy had not come to class for 2 days. How could he sit in the position of the chief senior as soon as he came? The most important thing was that the 2 most beautiful girls in the class seemed to be full of affection for him. If they let him become the chief senior, how could they pursue the goddess in their hearts in the future? For this reason, as soon as Melinda's voice fell, a tall male student stood up and said, "Teacher, I'm not convinced by your decision." Melinda frowned and looked down the stage. This male student was called Chao Huapeng. He was born in a big family in the Xuanwu Kingdom, and his cultivation was not weak. Seeing that some students had put forward different opinions, she said, "Qin Haodong's cultivation has reached the late stage of soul transformation. He is recognized as the king of newcomers among our freshmen. What are you not convinced about?" Chao Huapeng said, "Teacher Mei, I hid my cultivation during the entrance test, but now I can't keep a low profile anymore. To tell you the truth, I have also reached the late stage of soul transformation. I'm no worse than this person." As he spoke, he ran the genuine qi in his body and instantly burst out a powerful momentum. It was the late stage of soul transformation. Chapter 886. Many people realized this. To become a 6th grade alchemist, one had to be at least at the void training stage, and Qin Haodong was the only one in their class who had reached this level. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Qin Haodong. Could it be that the 6th grade alchemist Fang Qiong mentioned was really him? Mei Lin asked curiously. Fang Qiong, which student in our class is this 6th grade alchemist's medal for? Of course it's for my senior brother. He's the only one in the entire Black Tortoise Academy. Fang Qiong walked up to Qin Haodong, tidied up his clothes, took out a shining medal, and put it on his chest. Her movements were gentle and serious, as if she was serving her husband's wife. Everyone was stunned. They were shocked that Qin Haodong had won a 6th grade alchemist medal as soon as he entered the academy. At the same time, they were shocked by Fang Qiong's performance. She had been in the academy for so many years, and it was best to describe her as aloof. This goddess had never spoken to men, but her performance today had surprised everyone. "Senior brother, come to the Alchemist Union to see me when you have time." After that, Fang Qiong gave Qin Haodong another sweet smile, and then turned around and left the classroom. At this moment, the huge classroom was silent, but everyone's heart was in turmoil. This young man hadn't come to class for 2 days, and as soon as he appeared, he made them feel waves of shock, each stronger than the last. The little she-devil said proudly, "You've all seen it, my little brother is the best. And you ugly guy, didn't you want to compete with my little brother as an alchemist? Are you going to compete or not?" Zhuo Tianxiong was frustrated. What was there to compete with? Qin Haodong was a 6th grade alchemist, and his 3rd grade alchemist was nothing compared to him. Although it seemed that he was only half as good as Qin Haodong, the higher the level, the more difficult it was for an alchemist to advance. Not only did he have to have a good cultivation, but he also had to have excellent alchemy skills. Therefore, it was very difficult for him to advance to the next level. It was estimated that he would never be able to touch the threshold of a 6th grade alchemist in his life. What made him even more depressed was the title of Little She-Devil. What did she mean by ugly guy? Was he ugly? He was just not as handsome as that pretty boy. If there was no comparison, there would be no harm. Previously, he was filled with pride because of his identity as an alchemist, but now, his pride had been trampled to pieces. Helpless, Zhuo Tianxiong could only lower his head and sneak into the crowd, not daring to say another word. Seeing him like this, the little she-devil was even more pleased with herself, as if she was the one who had won. She held her head high and puffed out her chest, looking like a proud empress as she scanned the surrounding students. "If there's anyone else who doesn't accept my little brother, feel free to step forward. I'm not convinced. I want to compete with him in medical skills." As she spoke, a delicate-looking young man stepped forward and looked at the little she-devil with sparkling eyes. His name was Yin Xiang. In the class, most people regarded Zhao Xingyue as their goddess, but he was an exception. He liked the little witch Luo Hongying. The little she-devil glanced at him disdainfully. "You? What's there to compete with a lousy medical skill?" Yin Xiang said. "Although we cultivators rarely get sick, it's common for us to get injured. We doctors are everywhere. So I think doctors are the most helpful to our class. As the chief senior of the class, I must have superb medical skills." The little she-devil said, "Even if it's a medical skill competition, you're no match for my little brother." The girl now had a kind of blind worship for Qin Haodong, thinking that he was omnipotent. Yin Xiang said, "Luo Hongying, how about we make a bet?" Of course, the little she-devil would not be convinced. She said with her hands on her hips, "Let's bet. Do you think my little brother is afraid of you? What do you want to bet?" Yin Xiang said, "I'll compete with Qin Haodong in medical skills. If I win, you'll be my girlfriend. How about that?" I can't be your girlfriend. You're too ugly. You're not even half as handsome as my little brother. As the saying goes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yun Xiang was actually a standard handsome man. But in Luo Hongying's eyes, he could not be compared with Qin Haodong. Seeing his sweetheart fall in love with another man, he naturally felt uncomfortable. He gritted his teeth and said, "Are you afraid? If you're afraid, just let him admit defeat." What's there to be afraid of? What's there to be afraid of? Yun Xiang only used a little bit of provocation, and the little she-devil jumped up. She would not allow anyone to look down on her little brother. "I'll compete with you in medical skills. If I lose, I'll be your girlfriend. But dream on. My little brother will never lose." Qin Haodong stood aside and was speechless. He hadn't said a word, but the girl had actually put him in. What was going on? Yun Xiang had studied medical skills for many years, and he thought that his medical skills were unparalleled among the students. The little she-devil agreed, and immediately said with a smile, "Luo Hongying, that's what you said. Don't regret it." "I, the little she-devil, always keep my words. How can I regret it? But what do you have to bet with me?" "Well," Yun Xiang said, "I don't have any money. How about this? If I lose, I'll sell myself to you as your servant. I'll do anything you want me to do." The little she-devil curled her lips and said, "You're not worth anything at all. I'll just suffer some losses." She turned around and said, "Little brother, it's your turn. Win him, and make him my servant." Seeing that Qin Haodong was silent, Yun Xiang said, "Qin, you're not afraid, are you? Do you dare to compete with me in medical skills?" The little she-devil cried, "Little brother, show him what you're made of." Qin Haodong patted her head helplessly and said to Yun Xiang, "You're not qualified to compete with me in medical skills." "I'm not qualified? I think you're afraid." Yun Xiang sneered and said, "I've been learning medical skills from a mutant since I was 5 years old. Now I've reached the small realm. I don't dare to say anything else, but I'm more than enough to beat you." "Really?" Qin Haodong smiled perfectly and said, "Then I'll test you. What are the 8 extraordinary meridians?" Yun Xiang's face changed. "Qin, are you insulting me? Every doctor knows such a basic question." Qin Haodong said calmly, "Then tell me about it. Then I'll tell you. Let's see what new tricks you can play." Yun Xiang said, "The 8 extraordinary meridians refer to the Run Meridian, Du Meridian, Chong Meridian, Dai Meridian, Yin Linking Meridian, Yang Linking Meridian, Yin Heel Meridian, and Yang Heel Meridian. Compared with the 12 regular meridians of the human body, these meridians have a special way, so they are called the 8 extraordinary meridians. The 8 extraordinary meridians are the foundation of a warrior." Qin Haodong sneered and said, "You also know that it's the foundation of a warrior, but you only have half of the Yin Linking Meridian. You can't even cure your own disease. How dare you stand here and compete with me in medical skills? Isn't that a joke?" Yun Xiang was shocked and said, "How did you know?" Qin Haodong said, "As a doctor, how can I not see such an obvious disease? Your disease should be a congenital defect. It's hereditary, and has been passed down from generation to generation in your family. This kind of disease has no disadvantages at the beginning of a warrior's cultivation. On the contrary, it will speed up your cultivation. But as your cultivation increases, the disadvantages of missing half of the Yin Linking Meridian will begin to show. You've just reached the early stage of the divine transformation realm, so you will feel a sharp pain in your chest from time to time. When you reach the void training realm, especially the middle stage, you will start to vomit blood. Not to mention improving your cultivation, it will be extremely difficult for you to survive." Hearing what he said, everyone else was shocked. It was the first time they had heard of a congenital missing half of the Yin Linking Meridian. "Are you serious? He's not talking nonsense, is he? He didn't even feel her pulse. How could he say it so clearly? In addition to his martial arts cultivation and alchemy skills, his medical skills are also so outstanding? That's impossible. How can a person have so much energy?" "I think he can't compare with his medical skills, so he made up such a lie." People around were talking about it, but Yun Xiang was in a daze. After a while, He suddenly woke up and knelt in front of Qin Haodong. Dr. Qin, please forgive me for my ignorance. Please save my sister. What was going on? Was Yin Xiang crazy? Wasn't he going to compete with that guy in medical skills? Why did he suddenly kneel down? Everyone was baffled, including Miss Melinda, who was next to her. Originally, she wanted to see the competition between the students, but she didn't expect this result. Qin Haodong didn't use a single move. He only used a few words to make Yin Xiang kneel down and admit defeat. The little witch cried, Yin Xiang, didn't you want to compete with my little brother in medical skills? Why did you kneel down? Are you going to compete or not? Yin Xiang cried, No. My medical skills are not as good as Dr. Qin's at all. I'm willing to be your servant, but please save my sister first. Qin Haodong had already guessed what was going on. He said, If I'm not wrong, your sister has reached the middle stage of the void training realm, right? Dr. Qin, you're amazing. You're right. My sister has been known as a martial arts genius since she was a child. Her cultivation grew very fast, and she reached the middle stage of the practice realm a year ago. But since then, not only has she not been able to improve, but she often vomits blood. Now her condition is getting worse and worse, and she can't get out of bed. Please, Dr. Qin, only you can save her now. Seeing Yin Xiang's excited expression, Qin Haodong and the people present were moved by her deep love for her brother. Zhao Xingyue couldn't help saying, Brother Qin, we're all classmates. Please help him. Qin Haodong said, Well, I'll go and have a look at your sister after class. Thank you, Dr. Qin. Only then did Yin Xiang stand up from the ground. Mei Lin said to the crowd, Now I announce that Qin Haodong is the head senior of our class. Does anyone have any objections? The audience suddenly fell silent. He had just reached the void training realm at the age of 21. He had passed the assessment of a 6th grade alchemist within 2 days of entering the school. His medical skills had also reached an incredible level. In the face of such a genius, who could have any objections? Who dared to have any objections? Even if they wanted to object, they had to have the ability. In this way, Qin Haodong became the head senior of the class under the pressure of his tyrannical strength. After the class meeting, Qin Haodong and Yin Xiang hurriedly left the classroom and walked towards the dormitory area of the college. The little witch and Zhao Xingyue returned to the dormitory. As they walked, Qin Haodong asked, You didn't just discover this congenital defect of your family, did you? Why do you still practice martial arts? Yin Xiang sighed and said, Our family was poor since childhood. If we don't practice martial arts in the Lingwu continent, there is no way out at all. So even though we knew that we were congenital defects, my sister and I still embarked on the road of cultivation without hesitation. In order to cure my family's disease, I studied medicine since I was a child. Unfortunately, after so many years of study, I still can't cure my own disease. Chapter 887. Qin Haodong was not surprised by this. The only way to cure a unique disease like the lack of yin linking meridian was to reconstruct the meridians with the rejuvenative acupuncture and use medicine. Qin Haodong was the only one in the world who could perform the rejuvenative acupuncture. Yin Xiang asked worriedly, Dr. Qin, are you sure you can cure my sister's disease? Qin Haodong nodded and said, If your sister has no other diseases, I should be able to. That's great. Thank you, Dr. Qin. My parents died when I was a child. My sister raised me. We depended on each other since we were young. As long as you can cure my sister, my life will be yours in the future. Qin Haodong said, Your cultivation is not as good as mine. Your medical skills are not as good as mine. And your alchemy skills are not as good as mine. You are not as handsome as me. What's the use of your life? Well, Dr. Qin, if your fee is too high, we really don't have that much money. But you can owe me now, and I'll pay you back later. Yin Xiang was speechless for a moment. As he said, Qin Haodong did not need him at all. But he and his sister were too poor, and could not afford much money at all. Keep your life with your sister. We'll talk about money later. Qin Haodong was willing to sacrifice his life for his sister. Although he did not seem to have changed on the surface, he still had a very good impression of him. Brother Qin, thank you. Yin Xiang was moved. He suddenly said, Brother Qin, why don't I help you pursue my sister? Well, when did I say that I wanted to pursue your sister? Qin Haodong was speechless. Yin Xiang said excitedly, Brother Qin, you are a good man, and my sister is a good match. You don't know that my sister is one of the most beautiful goddesses in our school. Countless people have pursued her these years, but my sister has not liked any of them. Even Xue Pan, the fourth master in our school, is also a pursuer of my sister, but my sister did not like him. Who is your sister? Qin Haodong asked in surprise. My sister is Yin Qianqian. Before she got sick, she ranked 7th among the top 10 masters in our school. She is no less beautiful than Fang Qiong'er. Most importantly, my sister is not as cold as she is. Oh, Qin Haodong nodded. He didn't expect Yin Xiang's sister to be the famous Yin Qianqian. As they spoke, the two of them arrived in front of a dormitory. Yin Xiang opened the door and walked in. Sister, I'm here to see you. Yin Xiang opened the bedroom door and let Qin Haodong in. On the large bed in the middle of the room lay a beautiful woman. This woman looked like Lin Daiyu from the Dream of the Red Chamber. Her beauty was tinged with a sickly gentleness, making people feel endless pity for her. Little brother, isn't it time for class? Why are you here? Yin Qianqian's voice was very weak. She did not sound like a void refinement cultivator at all. While speaking, she saw Qin Haodong standing in the room and asked, Little brother, who is this junior brother? Yin Xiang walked to the bed and helped Yin Qianqian sit up. Sister, this is our classmate Dr. Qin Haodong. He said he can cure you. How is this possible? Yin Qianqian glanced at Qin Haodong and saw no hope at all. He was too young. In her opinion, this person must be one of her admirers, trying to get close to her in this way. Little brother, thank him for me, and then you can go. He can't cure my disease. Seeing that Yin Qianqian did not believe Qin Haodong, Yin Xiang hurriedly said, Sister, although Brother Qin is young, his medical skills are excellent, and he is a 6th-grade alchemist. Hearing that Qin Haodong was a 6th-grade alchemist, Yin Qianqian was shocked. As one of the top 10 experts in the school, it was impossible for her not to know what a 6th-grade alchemist meant. Before this, Fang Qiong'er was the highest-level alchemist among the students, but she was only a 5th-grade alchemist. How could this young man who had just arrived be a 6th-grade alchemist? Little brother, have you been fooled? It's not that easy to become a 6th-grade alchemist. Seeing that his sister did not believe him, Yin Xiang hurriedly said, Sister, I saw it with my own eyes. Senior sister Fang Qiong'er just gave Brother Qin a medal. She even called Brother Qin Haodong senior brother. After saying that, he was still worried that his sister would not believe him, so he raised his hand and pointed at Qin Haodong's chest. Look, this is the 6th-grade alchemist medal. Yin Qianqian stepped forward and saw the medal clearly. Her cold expression changed to one of sincerity. Dr. Qin, please save my brother. As long as you can cure him, I, Yin Qianqian, will do anything for you. Qin Haodong sighed with emotion. From the brother and sister, he really saw what was called deep affection. Everyone was always thinking about each other. This kind of sincere affection was rare. Let me take your pulse first. Your condition is more serious. Qin Haodong came to the bedside, took Yin Qianqian's hand, and put his hand on her pulse. Yin Qianqian looked at the young man in front of her nervously. As long as her disease could be cured, her brother could be saved. After a while, Qin Haodong withdrew his right hand. It's okay. Although your condition is a little serious, it can be cured. Hearing that their disease could be cured, the siblings burst into tears of joy. For so many years, they had lived in fear of death, constantly worried that they would lose the most precious person in their lives. Yin Xiang said excitedly, Dr. Qin, when can you treat my sister? Qin Haodong said, Miss Yin needs some help from a woman. Take her to my dormitory, and I will go to the Alchemist Union to buy some herbs. I will treat your sister later. Yin Xiang said, Brother Qin, I can buy the herbs and run errands. My sister is very sick now. and I am afraid that I can't take good care of her. You are a doctor, and you are better at it. He had his own thoughts. With Qin Haodong's excellence, if he could really become his brother-in-law, it would indeed be a great blessing, and also a good thing for his sister. So from now on, he would create opportunities for the two of them. Qin Haodong asked in confusion, "Aren't you also a doctor? How can I compare with you? Otherwise, my sister would have been cured a long time ago," Yin Xiang said. "Brother Qin, tell me what medicine you want to buy, and I will go now." Seeing that he insisted, Qin Haodong didn't say much. He picked up a pen and paper, wrote a prescription, and handed it to Yin Xiang. "These herbs may be a little expensive. Take the money first, and pay me back when you have money." Then he took out 100 best-grade spirit stones, and gave them to Yin Xiang. "I know brother-in-law, no brother Qin." Yin Xiang saw the hope of curing his sister, so he ran out with a smile. Yin Qianqian was originally a pretty girl from a humble family. When she heard the word brother-in-law from her brother, her cheeks suddenly turned red, as if she was drunk, and she didn't even dare to look up at Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong didn't take this kind of joke seriously at all. He said to Yin Qianqian, "Let's go." Yin Qianqian nodded and struggled to get out of bed. But she had been seriously ill recently, and she kept vomiting blood. Her body was too weak, and after a few steps, she felt dizzy and fell to the side. Fortunately, Qin Haodong stayed by her side and reached out to hold her. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." With Qin Haodong's support, Yin Qianqian gritted her teeth and continued to walk forward. Apart from her brother, this was the first time she had such close contact with a man. She felt the strong masculine qi, and her body became weaker and weaker. After a few steps, she fell into Qin Haodong's arms. "You're too weak, let me carry you." Qin Haodong had no choice but to bend down and carry Yin Qianqian on his back, and walk in the direction of his dormitory. Yin Qianqian's body was weak, and she knew that this was the best choice, so she could only lie on Qin Haodong's back. But after a few steps she felt awkward. As they walked, she could feel the strength of Qin Haodong's back. This made her face burn, and she could only bury her face in Qin Haodong's neck. The two of them walked forward in this manner, and immediately attracted the attention of many people, including Dong Zhenjiang, who had just been beaten up. He saw Qin Haodong gritting his teeth, and then saw Yin Qianqian lying on Qin Haodong's back. Suddenly, he had an idea, and turned to run to a dormitory in the distance. The person who lived in this dormitory was none other than Xue Pan, who was ranked 4th in the Black Tortoise region. Xue Pan was a 4th-year student, and his cultivation had reached the late stage of the void training realm. He had always liked Yin Qianqian. He was also extremely domineering, and any student who came into close contact with Yin Qianqian would definitely be challenged by Xue Pan the next day. Those who did not accept the challenge would be beaten up for no reason. Over time, Yin Qianqian had become Xue Pan's woman in many people's hearts. After being beaten up the last time, Dong Zhenjiang had become much more well-behaved. But now that he had such a rare opportunity, he naturally would not wait until the freshman competition. After entering the room, he called out, "Brother Xue, something bad has happened." Xue Pan was sitting cross-legged in his room cultivating. When he saw Dong Zhenjiang barge in, he said unhappily, "What's the fuss about? What are you doing here?" "Brother Xue, I just saw Yin Qianqian being taken away." "What did you say?" Xue Pan had never had a good impression of Dong Zhenjiang. Just when he was about to ask him to leave, he jumped up after hearing what Dong Zhenjiang said. He grabbed Dong Zhenjiang's collar and said sternly, "Say that again?" Dong Zhenjiang looked panicked, but deep down he was very happy. The angrier Xue Pan was, the more miserable it would be. "Brother Xue, don't be angry. I just saw a freshman this year. He carried Yin Qianqian to his dormitory. Senior Yin Qianqian has never been in contact with men, but now she is being carried by him. I guess she must have been forced. This guy is extremely lecherous. He has hooked up with several women as soon as he registered. I guess he must have taken a fancy to Senior Yin's beauty, so he took her away while she was sick." Xue Pan knew that Yin Qianqian was sick. He had originally planned to visit her after his cultivation, but now that she had been taken away, he suddenly became furious. Where does Qin Haodong live? Take me there immediately. I want to save Qianqian. Dong Zhenjiang was overjoyed and said, Brother Shui, that guy has been living with the little witch. You may not be able to deal with him alone. Why don't you call my brother and he Kaishan together? When we have the numbers, even if the little witch wants to help him, she won't be able to. Hearing the name of the little witch, Shui Pan also had a headache. Once she summoned a monster of a high level, he really couldn't deal with it. So he nodded and said, Okay, go and call people now. Be fast. Don't let Qianqian suffer. Don't worry, Brother Shui. I'll be back soon. Dong Zhenjiang ran out with a smile. Hearing that Shui Pan was going to deal with Qin Haodong, He Kaishan and Dong Zhenhai were also overjoyed. They immediately rushed over and followed Shui Pan to Qin Haodong's dormitory. Big boss. Fat cat rolls here and there. Chapter 888. Qin Haodong returned to the dormitory with Yin Qianqian on his back. The little she-devil jumped out and greeted him. Hey, where did you steal another beauty? When she saw Yin Qianqian's face, she was shocked and cried, Yin Qianqian, how did you become like this? Qin Haodong said, She's very sick and needs to be treated here. As he spoke, he put Yin Qianqian on the big bed in the bedroom. At this time, Yun Xiang had bought the medicine and hurried back. Qin Haodong left the preparation work to the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue, then took Yun Xiang to the alchemy room. 10 minutes later, a furnace of dredging meridian's elixir was made. This was a second-grade elixir, which was not very high level, but it was very effective for Yin Qianqian and Yin Xiang's condition. After refining the elixir, he returned to the bedroom. At this time, Yin Qianqian was lying on the bed, covered with a sheet. Qin Haodong asked, Is everything ready? The little she-devil said, Yes, now Yin Qianqian is naked. There is nothing on her. Hearing this, Yin Qianqian was so embarrassed that she wanted to find a hole to hide in. However, for the sake of the treatment, she had no choice but to close her eyes tightly and pretend that she didn't hear or see anything. Qin Haodong first took out a dredging meridian's elixir and fed it to Yin Qianqian. Then he said to the others, Luo Hongying, Yin Xiang, you two guard outside the door and don't let anyone disturb you. Zhao Xingyue, cooperate with me to treat the disease here. In fact, he did not need anyone to cooperate with him to treat the disease, but with Yin Qianqian's current condition, it was not suitable for him to stay in the room alone. So he left another person behind. Taking out the silver needles, Qin Haodong hesitated for a moment, then reached out and pulled off the sheet on Yin Qianqian's body, revealing a beautiful figure. At this time, Yin Qianqian's cheeks were red, as if blood was about to drip out. Her eyes were closed tightly, her eyelashes moved slightly, and her breathing became more rapid. Although Qin Haodong could recognize the acupoints through clothes, Yin Qianqian's congenital half of the yin linking meridian was incomplete, and it needed to be carefully repaired with the rejuvenative acupuncture needle. There could not be any mistakes, so he asked the little she-devil to take off all of Yin Qianqian's clothes. He licked his dry lips and said, Don't be nervous, I'm just treating the disease. I know. Although Yin Qianqian said that, her voice was trembling with nervousness. After all, she had never let a man see her body before. Seeing that the meridian dredging pill had begun to work, Qin Haodong took out a silver needle and quickly pierced it into the Zhubin acupoint on her leg. The yin linking meridian was one of the most important meridians in the 8 extraordinary meridians. It started from the inner part of the calf, where the 3 yin meridians of the foot intersected. It traveled along the inner part of the lower limbs to the abdomen, and then traveled along the Tyin spleen meridian of the foot. It then traveled up to the throat and merged with the Ren meridian. That was to say, this meridian ran through almost from the feet to the head. Qin Haodong's silver needles started from the feet and pierced them one by one, slowly moving upward to help repair the congenital underdeveloped meridian. In the past, he had used the rejuvenating needle to repair the meridians of others, but that was only a small part of it. This was the first time that he had healed half a meridian. Fortunately, His current cultivation had reached the middle stage of the void refinement stage. The powerful green wood genuine qi continuously flowed into Yin Qianqian through the silver needles, together with the meridian dredging pill, nourishing her meridians. As time went by, Yin Qianqian slowly lost her initial shyness and felt that significant changes had begun to take place in her body. The blocked meridians began to slowly open up, and the blood that had been stuck in her chest returned to the normal meridian circulation. In the end, a comfort that she had never felt before filled her body. She couldn't help but want to moan, but she used her rationality to control it. It's done. Qin Haodong wiped the sweat off his head and withdrew all the silver needles. Then, he pulled the sheet back and covered Yin Qianqian's body. Although she had already felt the changes in her body, Yin Qianqian still couldn't help but ask, "Dr. Qin, is my illness really cured?" Qin Haodong said, "There's no problem at all. You can cultivate at will in the future, no matter how high your cultivation is." "Dr. Qin, thank you," Yin Qianqian said, choking with tears. She was so excited. Since the ancestors of the Yun family, there were very few people who lived a long life. They began to die in the prime of their youth. Until now, only the two of them were left. Later, after the guidance of an expert, they learned that this was a congenital defect in the meridians, and the best way to avoid it was not to practice martial arts. However, the Yin family was a poor family. If they did not practice martial arts, there was no hope for their descendants to make a name for themselves. So in the end, the sister and brother chose this path without hesitation. After the attack, she thought that she was really going to die. Unexpectedly, she met Qin Haodong, who completely cured her body's defect. She was so excited that she couldn't help but cry. Hearing her crying, the little she-devil ran in from outside and shouted at the top of her voice, "Little brother, did you take advantage of me?" Qin Haodong said awkwardly, "What nonsense are you talking about?" The little she-devil hugged his arm intimately and said, "You didn't take advantage of me. Why is Yin Qianqian crying?" Yin Qianqian hurriedly said, "This has nothing to do with Dr. Qin. I was just too excited. My disease has finally been cured." Zhao Xingyue also said, "Brother Qin was very honest. He just looked. He didn't touch Sister Yun's body." Qin Haodong was speechless. How could this girl say that? What did she mean by just looking? He was carefully inserting needles. How could he not see clearly? If he poked a wrong acupoint, it would be troublesome. The little she-devil said with a smile, "I can't even look. That's taking advantage of a girl. I have to compensate her." Yin Qianqian said, No, Dr. Qin is treating me. I can't thank him enough. How can I ask for compensation?" The little she-devil said, "That's another thing. Anyway, we girls can't show our bodies to anyone." She said to Qin Haodong, "Didn't you refine the void-breaking pill? Give one to Sister Yin as compensation." Qin Haodong glanced at the little she-devil. This girl looked careless, but in fact she was quite kind-hearted. It was obvious that she was helping Yin Qianqian. He was not a stingy person, so he didn't care about a pill. He took out a void-breaking pill from his storage ring and gave it to Yin Qianqian. Yin Qianqian waved her hand and said, "Dr. Qin, you have cured my disease. I can't take any more of your pills." Qin Haodong said, "It doesn't matter. I'm selling this pill to you. You can return it to me when you have money." The little she-devil took the void-breaking pill and said, "Sister Yin, this is the latest 6th grade pill refined by my little brother. It can help you improve by 1 level. You should take it." She put the pill directly into Yin Qianqian's mouth, without giving her any chance to resist. After the pill entered her mouth, Yin Qianqian suddenly felt her genuine qi rising, and her body became extremely hot. She quickly sat cross-legged and digested the pill. Qin Haodong asked the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue to stay here, and walked out of the bedroom. Because of his gender, Yin Xiang didn't come in, but he secretly listened outside the door. Seeing Qin Haodong come out, he immediately said gratefully, "Brother Qin, thank you for saving my sister. Cut the crap and take off your clothes." Qin Haodong took Yin Xiang into the alchemy room and asked him to take off his clothes. Then he began to treat his meridians. Yin Xiang's cultivation was still relatively low, so his condition was not as serious as Yin Qianqian's, so the treatment was much faster. About 20 minutes later, the Yin linking meridian was completely repaired. He took out a pill of fortune from his storage ring and said, "Take this pill and use it to improve your cultivation when the time is right." "Thank you, brother-in-law." Yin Xiang was in a good mood since he and his sister had been completely cured. Qin Haodong raised his hand and patted him on the head, reprimanding him. "Boy, don't talk nonsense." Yin Xiang touched his head and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, I'm not talking nonsense. You cured my sister and I, and you even paid for the medicine. My sister and I are poor and have nothing to repay you, so I can only ask you to be my brother-in-law." Qin Haodong glared at him and said, "Boy, are you trying to renege on your promise?" Yin Xiang said with a smile, "How can I renege on my promise? My sister is so beautiful, so you won't lose anything. Besides, you just saw my sister. She is a very conservative person. I guess she will never marry anyone except you in her life. If you don't become my brother-in-law, who will?" He had already seen that Qin Haodong was a good doctor and a good character. He was definitely a good man that was hard to find. So he tried his best to make Yin Qianqian and Qin Haodong a couple. Qin Haodong said, "It's fine if I treat you. I don't have to say anything if I have to pay for the pills. I can't lose myself." Yin Xiang said with a cheeky smile, "It's settled then. From now on, you are my brother-in-law." They went back to the bedroom while talking. At this time, Yin Qianqian had finished cultivating and put on her clothes again. Her spirit seemed to have improved a lot, and she had entered the threshold of the late stage of the void refinement stage. Seeing Qin Haodong enter the door, she quickly stood up from the bed and knelt in front of Qin Haodong. "Dr. Qin, thank you for saving me and Yin Xiang. We can't repay you, but our lives are yours from now on." "You're welcome. I'm a doctor, and it's my duty to treat people." Qin Haodong sighed secretly. One of them wanted him to be his brother-in-law, and the other wanted to pay for it with her life. It seemed that he couldn't get the money back. Yin Xiang said with a smile, "Sister, we are all family. You don't have to be so polite to my brother-in-law." Yin Qianqian glared at him and said, "You're talking nonsense again." Yin Xiang said with a smile, "I'm not talking nonsense. Anyway, Brother Qin is my only brother-in-law, and he has agreed." Hearing this, Yin Qianqian didn't say anything more. She glanced at Qin Haodong shyly, and her heart was beating fast. Because of her serious illness, she had never had a boyfriend, and no man could catch her eye. But Qin Haodong was different. He was the savior of the siblings, and he was handsome and outstanding. Naturally, she would have no complaints about marrying such a man. Qin Haodong felt that he couldn't explain it. Had the siblings done this together? How did they lose themselves in such a muddle-headed way? At this moment, there was a bang, and the door of the dormitory was kicked away. "Qin Haodong, come out. What did you do to Qianqian?" With an angry shout, Xuepan rushed in from outside, followed by He Kaishan, Dong Zhenhai and Dong Zhenjiang. Qin Haodong frowned and walked out of the room. He glanced at the unfriendly people and said to Xuepan, "Who are you? You'll have to pay for breaking the door." Xuepan shouted angrily, "Stop talking nonsense. Hand over Qianqian, or I'll not only tear down your house, but also your bones." Chapter 889. Qin Haodong didn't know why the man was coming for Yin Qianqian. He turned to look at Yin Qianqian. Yin Qianqian said coldly, "Xuepan, what are you doing here? What do I have to do with you?" Although Xuepan had been pursuing her, she didn't have a good impression of him. She hated him for going against her. However, she was only in the mid-stage of void training, one level lower than Xuepan. She was also seriously ill, so she couldn't do anything about it. Xuepan yelled, "Qianqian, this guy must be forcing you. Don't worry, I'm here. No one can bully you." Yin Xiang yelled, "Xue, what are you talking about? My brother-in-law has a good relationship with my sister. When did he ever force my sister?" Xuepan's eyes widened when he heard this. He shouted, "What did you say?" What's the relationship between this guy and your sister? Yin Xiang didn't like Shui Pan either. He curled his lips and said, Are you deaf? I have to repeat important things 3 times. Qin Haodong is my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law. My brother-in-law. Did you hear me clearly this time? Shui Pan was furious. He had always been a domineering person and would never allow anyone to touch Yun Qianqian. Now that a brother-in-law had popped up out of nowhere, he was furious. Yun Qianqian, give me an explanation. What's going on? Yun Qianqian glanced at Qin Haodong. She didn't know that this so-called brother-in-law was made up by her brother. Qin Haodong didn't agree. She was most afraid that the man in front of her would misunderstand her. She quickly said, Shui Pan, what do I have to do with you? Why should I give you an explanation? But since you want to know, I'll tell you. Qin Haodong is my boyfriend. I won't marry anyone else but him. Are you satisfied now? Just as Yin Xiang said, Yun Qianqian was a very conservative person. Since Qin Haodong had seen her naked, she really wanted to marry him. You. Shui Pan was so angry that his chest was burning. He wanted to vomit blood. Dong Junhai whispered in his ear. Brother Shui, don't be angry. I'm guessing that Yun Qianqian must have been threatened by that little brat. I have to say that. As long as we kill that brat, everything will be over. Shui Pan thought it made sense. Although Qin Haodong was handsome, it was his first time meeting Yun Qianqian. Moreover, Yun Qianqian couldn't compare to him in terms of cultivation. Yun Qianqian had no reason to fall in love with him at first sight. Qianqian, don't be afraid. Come back to me now. With me here, no one can hurt you. Hearing him shout like this, the little she-devil immediately became unhappy. She glared at him and said, Shui Pan, do you have any shame? Was my big sister Yin not clear enough? She doesn't like you at all. Hurry up and scram. Don't cause trouble in my little brother's place. Otherwise, I'll release my dogs to bite you to death. Shui Pan was already prepared for the little she-devil's presence. He shouted, Luo Hongying, I'm telling you this has nothing to do with you today. Run as far away as you can, or I'll beat you up as well. The one with the surname Shui, how dare you speak to me like this? See how I'll deal with you. The little she-devil was instantly enraged. No one in the academy had ever dared to provoke her. With a thought, a huge crystal ball appeared in her palm. Then, the simple and unadorned living spirit gate slowly opened in the hexagram. Shui Pan, today I'll summon a giant dragon to bite you to death. The little she-devil said hatefully. Come out, my baby. Following her summon, the living spirit gate slowly opened. This time, everyone became nervous, including Shui Pan. As a veteran in the academy, he naturally knew that the little she-devil's summoning was extremely unreliable. He didn't know what kind of demon beast she would summon. If she could really summon a giant dragon as she said, then he could only run with his tail between his legs. If he ran any slower, he would become the demon beast's feces. As the strongest person, he was already so cautious. Dong Junhai He Kaishan, and the others were even more so. Not to mention powerful creatures, like the 3-headed Cerberus from last time. They wouldn't be able to fight against 3 or 5 of them. Qin Haodong looked at the Holy Spirit Gate with great interest. He also wanted to see what the little she-devil could summon. At this time, the living spirit gate opened, and a white figure jumped out. When everyone saw the creature clearly, they almost laughed out loud. It turned out to be a cute snow-white rabbit. After coming out, its 2 blood-red eyes scanned the surroundings. When it saw the aggressive Shui Pan and the others, it jumped into the little she-devil's embrace, as if it was startled. Its whole body trembled. Shui Pan burst into laughter. Luo Hongying, is this the giant dragon you summoned? Quickly let it bite me. The little she-devil was so angry that her face turned red. She never thought that she would summon such a useless thing. Damn it, why did you come out to join in the fun? I'll let little brother stew you later. Although the little she-devil was angry, she couldn't do anything. She needed to rest for at least 10 minutes after summoning the living spirit gate. In other words, if she wanted to summon a demon beast to help her fight, she would have to wait for 10 minutes. Now she had completely lost the ability to fight. Surname Qin Brat, let's see what else you can rely on. Shui Pan strode into the yard, pointed at Qin Haodong and shouted, "Come and fight me if you're a man." Yin Qianqian didn't know what Qin Haodong's cultivation was, and was afraid that he would be injured. She stepped in front of him and said to Shui Pan, "Shui Pan, I'll tell you again. No one is threatening me, and I have nothing to do with you. Don't make trouble here. Get out of here, do you hear me?" Shui Pan shouted with bloodshot eyes, "Yin Qianqian, do you really want this pretty boy? How is he stronger than me?" Yin Qianqian said coldly, "You're right, I want him. He's stronger than you in every way. Then I'll cripple him today and show you who's the real strong one." After saying that, Shui Pan suddenly punched Qin Haodong's chest. As the fourth strongest person in the world, his punch was naturally extraordinary. Under his full strength, there was a faint sound of wind and thunder. "Shui Pan, don't you dare." With a shout, Yin Qianqian raised her hand to meet the attack. It happened so suddenly that it was too late for Shui Pan to stop. Their fist and palm collided. With a loud bang, Shui Pan took 5 or 6 steps back. Yin Qianqian also took a step back and leaned into Qin Haodong's arms. The two of them were evenly matched. Shui Pan's anger turned into shock. "Qianqian, weren't you sick? How did your cultivation improve so quickly?" Yin Qianqian said, "It was Haodong who cured me and helped me improve my cultivation. Now you know that he's better than you, right?" Shui Pan's eyes flashed with a strong murderous intent. "Since he's so capable, let him fight me directly." Seeing that this guy was not going to stop, Yin Qianqian was also angry. "If you want to touch my man, you'll have to get through me first." After saying that, she jumped into the air and kicked Shui Pan's head with her long leg. "Yin Qianqian, since you're heartless, don't blame me for being heartless." Shui Pan raised his hand to catch Yin Qianqian's leg and turned to Shui Kaishan and the others. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and cripple this kid." Then, he entangled Yin Qianqian so that he Kaishan, Dong Jinhai, and the others could attack Qin Haodong. At this point, the difference in strength between the two sides was obvious. The little witch, the unreliable summoner, had a rabbit in her arms. She was anxious but could do nothing to help. Yun Xiang's cultivation was only in the early stage of the soul formation stage. He was no match for Dong Jinhai and He Kaishan, who had already entered the void training stage. Zhao Xingyue's cultivation was very high. With Qin Haodong's help, she had reached the mid-stage of the qi refinement stage. In terms of cultivation, she was not inferior to He Kaishan. Unfortunately, she was too timid. At this time, she grabbed Qin Haodong's arm and hid behind him. She had no courage to fight. "Qin Haodong, let's see who can help you this time." Dong Jinhai sneered and reached out to grab Qin Haodong's neck. Although he didn't dare to kill him, he wanted to humiliate this pretty boy, to vent the depression in his heart for the past few days. Qin Haodong frowned slightly. These people were really endless. Did they think that he was a sick cat if he did not show his power? He was now in the mid-stage of the void training stage. Even if he did not take the explosive yuan pill, He Kaishan and Dong Jinhai in front of him together would not be a match for him. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in the courtyard and shouted coldly, "All of you stop!" This shout was loud and powerful. Everyone looked in his direction and saw a middle-aged man in an Armani suit and big black leather shoes, standing there with great momentum. Seeing Luo Qingshan, Qin Haodong secretly laughed. After the old man put on the suit, he looked much younger. If he were on Earth, he would really think that he was the president of some big company. He was very familiar with Luo Qingshan's outfit, because it was his work. However, the others present had never seen a suit, nor did they know that Luo Qingshan had cut off his hair and beard. For a moment, they did not recognize that this was their dean. Dong Zhenjiang finally found a chance to take revenge. Naturally, he did not want to be disturbed by outsiders. He stepped forward and grabbed Luo Dongqing's collar. "Where did this monster come from? Get out of here. How dare you meddle in my business? Do you want to die?" Luo Dongqing originally came here excitedly. Today, he dressed up carefully according to Qin Haodong's arrangement, and went to see his wife with the MP3 player. Things went as smoothly as Qin Haodong had expected. After receiving the MP3 player, his wife was very happy and couldn't put it down. Not only did she not drive him out, but she also made him a cup of tea, which made the old man so happy that he could not close his mouth. Originally, he came to thank Qin Haodong and ask for advice on what to do next, but he happened to meet Shui Pan and others here to make trouble. What was more unexpected was that Dong Zhenjiang dared to grab his collar. Didn't he know that he won the favor of his wife with this outfit? Thinking of this, Luo Dongqing flew into a rage. He raised his hand and slapped Dong Zhenjiang in the face. He was directly slapped more than 10 meters away and hit a big tree next to him with a bang. Brother, this old guy dared to hit me. Take revenge for me. Until now, Dong Zhenjiang still did not recognize who hit him. Dong Zhenhai shouted, "Old man, how dare you touch my brother?" He had been in the Black Tortoise Academy for 4 years and was confident that he knew everyone in the academy. However, he had never seen this person in front of him. Since he was not a teacher of the academy, he did not hesitate to punch Luo Dongqing hard in the face. Luo Dongqing was almost mad. A student of his academy repeatedly attacked him. Was there any law? Dong Zhenhai, do you want to die? With a roar, Luo Dongqing's momentum at the peak of the form synthesis stage suddenly broke out and instantly suppressed Dong Zhenhai. Chapter 890. Feeling the other party's powerful aura, Dong Zhenhai turned pale with fright. Only now did he recognize who the person in front of him was. With a face full of fear, he cried out, "Dean! Dean!" Following his cry, the others also recognized the person in the strange attire as Luo Dongqing, almost peeing their pants in fright. Shui Pan and He Kaishan quickly withdrew their hands and obediently stood to the side. Although they were arrogant, they were nothing in front of Luo Dongqing. Luo Dongqing was originally in high spirits, but now that her mood was dampened by these guys, she immediately became furious. "You dare to openly violate the Institute's rules, coming here to fight. Do you really think I won't dare to expel you?" Luo Dongqing said as she reached out and grabbed Dong Zhenjiang's collar. "The most hateful one is you, repeatedly breaking the rules. Do you really think our Black Tortoise Institute's rules are just for show? You even dare to grab my collar. From now on you are expelled. Quickly get out of Black Tortoise Institute for me." Dong Zhenjiang was dumbfounded. Last time, he was only fined 200 spirit stones. He and his brother were not expelled, which made him feel lucky. He thought that by relying on his brother's face, he wouldn't be expelled, so he unscrupulously fought again and again. Black Tortoise Institute was one of the most prestigious institutes in Lingwu continent, with an illustrious reputation. If he was expelled from here, no other institute would be willing to accept him. This result was extremely serious. "Dean Luo, I was wrong. I really didn't recognize you. Please give me another chance." This time, Dong Zhenjiang was completely dumbfounded, really scared. He knelt on the ground with a plop, begging bitterly. Dong Zhenhai quickly came over to plead. "Yes, Dean, please give my brother another chance." Luo Dongqing fiercely glared at him. "Dong Zhenhai, don't think that just because you are one of the top 10 experts of the institute, you can do whatever you want. Last time I already warned you, but you repeatedly violated the institute's rules. From now on, you are also expelled from Black Tortoise Institute, no longer our student." "What?" Dong Zhenhai's mouth was wide open, standing there with a dumbfounded expression. Just as Luo Dongqing said, he relied on the fact that he was one of the top 10 experts in the academy and thought that a student like him wouldn't be expelled by the academy, so he was fearless. But who would have thought that Luo Dongqing was truly enraged this time? Not only did she expel his younger brother, Dong Zhenjiang, she also expelled him from Black Tortoise Academy. After coming back to his senses, he hurriedly said, "Dean, please consider it carefully. It's going to be the North-South College competition soon. I still want to contribute to the college." He still had a sliver of hope that Luo Dongqing was just being impulsive. If she remembered the North-South Academy tournament, she wouldn't have expelled him. After all, there weren't many students as outstanding as him. Luo Dongqing said coldly, You really think of yourself as the pillar of the academy. Even without you, our academy can still participate in the North-South Academy tournament. The two of you, go back and pack your things now. Get out of Black Tortoise Institution, and don't let me see you again. Dong Junjiang and Dong Junhai were completely dumbfounded. As the saying goes, if you don't court death, you won't die. They had fully experienced the true meaning of this sentence. Originally, Qin Haodong was just a freshman and didn't have much interaction with them. But in the end, their incessant provocation had harmed the two brothers. At this point, they had no other choice but to leave the dormitory dejectedly and go back to pack their things. Black Tortoise Institution had always had strict rules, and the dean was a man of his word. If they still didn't leave after being expelled, they would probably have to spend the rest of their lives in the academy's prison. After dealing with the Dong brothers, Luo Dongqing looked at Xue Pan, and he Kaishang coldly. Since it's your first offense, each of you will pay 2,000 top-grade spirit stones as a fine. If there's a next time, you will be like them and get out of Black Tortoise Institution. Yes, Dean. We know we're wrong. With the Dong brothers as the chickens, the two monkeys naturally didn't dare to act rashly. They obediently paid 2,000 top-grade spirit stones each, and left the dormitory with their tails between their legs. Old man, you did well this time. Let me reward you. The little she-devil ran to Luo Dongqing's side and kissed him on the cheek. You naughty girl. A smile appeared on Luo Dongqing's face, and then disappeared. She pretended to look at Qin Haodong seriously and said, You boy. Every time there's a fight, you're involved. Shouldn't you pay me a fine? Qin Haodong smiled and said, Sure. How much do you want? Luo Dongqing said, They all paid 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. I'll give you a discount. How about 1,000? No problem. 1,000 top-grade spirit stones is nothing. Seeing that Qin Haodong agreed so easily, Luo Dongqing had a bad feeling in his heart. This boy had always been a miser. When did he become so generous? Sure enough, Qin Haodong smiled playfully and said, Headmaster Luo, I forgot to tell you last time. The magical instrument for listening to music I gave you costs 100,000 top-grade spirit stones. And the clothes you're wearing and the shoes on your feet, I'll give you a discount. 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. After deducting the 1,000 top-grade spirit stones, you still have to pay me 109,000 top-grade spirit stones. Luo Dongqing was dumbfounded. Although he was the headmaster of the college and had some money, he couldn't take out so many top-grade spirit stones. Seeing that the fine had not been paid, but he was in debt, he quickly said with a smile, Little Qin, I was just joking with you. What's our relationship? How could I punish you? Yin Qianqian, Yin Xiang and the others were shocked. In the past, Luo Dongqing had always been very serious in front of everyone. They had never seen him act like this. Only then did the little she-devil notice the appearance of her grandpa. She stepped forward and touched his suit, saying, Grandpa, did my little brother give you this suit? It looks much more handsome. And who took care of your hair and beard? You look at least 50 years younger than before. Really? That's what your grandma said. Thinking of her own happy things, Luo Dongqing laughed. The little she-devil asked in surprise, Did you go to see Grandma? Luo Dongqing said, Yes, I just came back from her. Grandma didn't drive you out? No, she made me a cup of tea, Luo Dongqing said proudly. It seems that it's not long before I go home. Well, Grandpa, I didn't expect you to be so good at pleasing Grandma. Qin Haodong said, It's all because of me. If I followed his dogskin plaster, I wouldn't be able to go home for the rest of my life. Luo Dongqing didn't care about the headmaster's face at this time. He quickly nodded and said, Yes, it's all thanks to little Qin's help this time. He didn't dare to offend Qin Haodong now. After all, he had only won the favor of his wife. There was still a long way to go before he could go home and sleep with her. Seeing that they were talking about Luo Dongqing's private affairs, Yin Qianqian said with some embarrassment, Dean Luo, Dr. Qin, if there's nothing else, we'll go back. Don't go. Stay and have a meal together. I'll cook for everyone. Just now, Yin Qianqian had been standing in front of him, and Qin Haodong was very satisfied with the little girl's performance. Yes, Sister Yin, have a taste of my little brother's cooking. I promise you won't want to leave after eating this. Qin Haodong knocked on her head and said, Do you think everyone is a little foodie like you? The little she-devil rubbed her head and said, What's wrong with being a foodie? I love eating your food. Don't try to get rid of me for the rest of your life. Seeing that everyone wanted her to stay, Yin Qianqian was too embarrassed to leave, so she stayed with Yin Xiang. Qin Haodong cooked very quickly. In addition, most of the things in his ring were processed semi-finished products. Soon, a table of sumptuous dinner was served. Oh, it smells so good. The little she-devil took the lead and put a piece of braised pork ribs into her mouth. She ate it happily. Delicious, it's really delicious, she said and kissed Qin Haodong's cheek out of habit. His face was covered with the braised pork ribs soup. You little girl. You're also a 20-year-old girl. Why don't you have any manners? Luo Dongqing reprimanded the little she-devil, and then said to Qin Haodong with a flattering face, Little Qin, such good food. You can't have no wine to drink, can you? Qin Haodong glanced at her and said, Don't you have so much good wine? Luo Dongqing said, I don't have much wine, so I have to drink it sparingly. Besides, I'm here, so I should drink your wine. You old man, you're just trying to get my wine. Qin Haodong first took out a bottle of Wuliangye from his storage ring and threw it to Luo Dongqing. Then he took out a box of beer and gave everyone a bottle. Good wine, it's really good wine. Luo Dongqing had just opened the bottle and smelled the aroma of Wuliangye. She sniffed hard and then looked at Qin Haodong's storage ring and said, Little Qin, I really don't know how many good things you've hidden. The little she-devil said, Old man, it's good enough that I gave you wine. Don't have any ideas about me. Luo Dongqing glared at her discontentedly and said, Naughty girl, I'm your grandfather. Don't you know who to help? Besides, I just glanced at his ring and didn't take it. What's the big deal? The little she-devil stuck out her tongue and said, Of course I know who to help. It's to help my little brother. Seeing that her granddaughter was standing on the other side, Luo Dongqing could only pour himself a glass of wine and drink it in one gulp. Everyone also began to eat. After taking a bite of the sweet and sour fish, Yin Qianqian's eyes suddenly lit up. She finally knew why the little she-devil stayed here and didn't want to leave. She had never eaten such delicious food in her life. Under the temptation of the delicacies, everyone at the table stopped talking and began to eat heartily. Like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds, they quickly finished the table of delicacies. After the meal, Yin Qianqian took Yin Xiang back to her dormitory. Zhao Xingyue took the little she-devil into her room, leaving only Qin Haodong and Luo Dongqing in the yard. Old man, if you have anything to say, just say it. Luo Dongqing drank the whole bottle of Wuliangye, her cheeks swollen. At this time, his cheeks were red and his face was full of excitement. Little Qin, to tell you the truth, after I went there today, the old woman behaved really well. I also know it's all thanks to you. What should I do next? How can I go home again? Of course, strike the iron while it's hot and further increase her affection for you. Luo Dongqing said, I understand the reason, but I don't know what to do. Qin Haodong glanced at him and asked, What does your wife think of your clothes? Not bad. She also said that my clothes are very handsome, much better than the previous robe. That's easy. Take this and give it to your wife as a gift. Qin Haodong nodded. Since Luo Dongqing's wife could accept the fashionable clothes of the earthlings, it meant that she also had a beautiful heart. So he took out a miniskirt and a pair of red high heels from the storage ring and gave them to Luo Dongqing. Chapter 891. Seeing these two things, Luo Dongqing asked in surprise, What is this? This is a woman's favorite. You'll be absolutely beautiful when you wear it. Qin Haodong asked, By the way, is your wife a big fat woman? Your wife is a big fat woman. Luo Dongqing glared at Qin Haodong and said, I told you, my wife is as beautiful as a flower. She's so beautiful that she can embarrass the flowers and block the moon. Seeing that the old man was endless, Qin Haodong quickly said. Okay, tell me more details so that I can choose the right size for your wife. Luo Dongqing said. She's about the same size as Hong Ying. This child originally took after her grandmother. Then she can wear this size. Qin Haodong stuffed the high heels and the miniskirt in his hand to Luo Dongqing. Then he took out a bottle of Chanel perfume and said, help her to the end. Give her these as well. Luo Dongqing took these things and asked doubtfully, Little Qin, will this work? You don't believe me, do you? Then give them back to me. If it weren't for your strength today, I wouldn't have given you so many gifts. I believe you, I believe you. Luo Dongqing quickly put these things into the storage ring, for fear that Qin Haodong would take them back if he was unhappy. Qin Haodong smiled and said, Old man, you did a good job today. You expelled those 2 flies at once. Luo Dongqing said, Of course, nothing can be accomplished without rules. Those 2 guys made the same mistake again and again. What are the rules of the academy? Qin Haodong asked. What's the North-South Academy competition that Dong Junhai mentioned? Luo Dongqing said. In order to maintain the competition and encourage students to make progress, the Xuanwu Academy was divided into 2 at the beginning of its establishment. Our side belongs to the North Academy, and the other side of the mountain belongs to the South Academy. According to the rules of the academy, the North-South Academy has to hold a competition every year to see which side is better. Qin Haodong nodded and said, Dong Junhai is the 10th master in the world. Aren't you afraid of losing the competition if you expel him now? Luo Dongqing said, Dong Junhai is just at the early stage of the void training realm. What's so great about him? If I expel him, someone will take his place. Qin Haodong said, It seems that there are many masters in our school. Luo Dongqing shook her head and said with a sinister smile, You're wrong. There aren't many experts in our academy. The person I said can replace Dong Junhai is you. Qin Haodong came here just to improve his cultivation quietly. He didn't want to participate in any competition. He quickly said, Old man, are you mistaken? I can't do that. Why not? Do you think I'm a fool? Luo Dongqing said proudly. Since you can pass the grade 6 alchemist exam, it means that you have at least reached the early stages of the void tempering stage. Furthermore, you have refined a cauldron of void-breaking elixirs, and even helped Fang Qiong'er to advance a level. How could you not use it yourself? Hence, I'm guessing that you're at the mid-stage of the spatial tempering stage at the very least, which is 1 stage higher than Dong Junhai. So there's nothing wrong with that. Qin Haodong looked at the old man who reeked of alcohol in surprise. How did you know that? Aren't you too cunning? Luo Dongqing smiled and said, Of course, I'm the dean of this academy. How could you hide anything from me? In a few days, the freshman competition will be held. You have to perform well. Only by obtaining excellent results can you qualify to participate in the North-South competition. Qin Haodong said, I'm not interested in that. Luo Dongqing smiled like a fox. Don't say I didn't tell you in advance. The prize of the freshman competition is 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. This is not a small amount. If you don't want it, then forget it. When Qin Haodong heard such a large amount of top-grade spirit stones, his heart suddenly moved. No matter what, he couldn't let go of this money. What he lacked the most right now was money. Although he thought so in his heart, he still said dismissively, Do I look like a person who loves money? Luo Dongqing nodded with certainty. Yes, this old man looked sloppy, but in fact he was quite calculating. Qin Haodong said, Well, you're right. Even if it's 20,000 top-grade spirit stones, I will still win the freshman competition. Well, since we're full, I'm going to find a wife. After saying that, Luo Dongqing got up and left Qin Haodong's dormitory. After sending the old man away, Qin Haodong returned to his dormitory. As soon as he entered the door, the 2 girls had already taken a bath and were talking and laughing in the room. Little brother, you're back. Seeing him enter the door, the 2 girls immediately came up to him, one on the left and one on the right, holding his arms intimately. Feeling the breath of youth and seeing the 4 white and long legs, Qin Haodong felt a little regretful. He shouldn't have let the 2 girls wear such sexy pajamas. Wasn't it torturing him? The little she-devil took his hand and said with a smile, "Little brother, what are you looking at?" Qin Haodong quickly withdrew his gaze. "Nothing," the little she-devil said. "Who's more beautiful, me, Sister Xingyue or Sister Yin?" "You're all beautiful, you're all beautiful." Qin Haodong was not being perfunctory. The three girls each had their own characteristics. Zhao Xingyue had a noble temperament. Yin Qianqian was the daughter of a humble family. And the little she-devil had a Lolita face and a devilish body. Any one of the three girls would be the goddess of countless men. The little she-devil secretly leaned over to his ear and whispered, "Does Sister Yin look good without clothes?" What are you talking about? I'm a doctor. That's necessary for treatment." "Little brother, why are you in such a hurry? I didn't say anything bad about you," the little she-devil said with a smile. "I'm just asking if you look good." "Well, I'm tired. Let's go to sleep." Qin Haodong really couldn't resist this demonic little girl, so he simply lay down on the floor and covered himself with the quilt. However, listening to the little she-devil's words just now, he couldn't help but feel a fire in his heart, and then a strong feeling of longing arose. He had so many women, and he didn't know how they were doing now. And the little fellow, if he suddenly disappeared, would she miss him? Would she be sad? In the endless longing, he fell asleep in a daze. After an unknown period of time, a strong sense of crisis suddenly woke him up. But before he opened his eyes, he suddenly felt numb, and his acupoints were sealed. Who was it? How could they enter his room without a sound? Qin Haodong was shocked. Could it be that Xue Pan and the others secretly came to take revenge on him? However, after thinking about it, it was impossible. With their cultivation of the void refinement realm, it was impossible for them to enter the room without alerting him. Although his acupoints were sealed, his primordial spirit was still there. But to his horror, he couldn't feel the cultivation of the person behind him, which meant that this person was at least an expert of the great vehicle stage. Now that he was caught, what about the two girls? That person didn't care about Qin Haodong's thoughts at all. After sealing his acupoints, he grabbed his waist and brought him out of the room, then flew away. Qin Haodong was very nervous when such a mysterious expert of the great vehicle stage suddenly appeared. His current cultivation was too low. Even if he swallowed the Great Yuan Burst pill, he couldn't be this person's opponent. But at this moment, a strong fragrance entered his nostrils. This was the smell of Chanel No. 5, the perfume he had just given out tonight. In the entire Lingwu continent, there was only one person who could use this kind of perfume, and that was Luo Dongqing's wife. After confirming the identity of the other party, his heart was a lot more at ease. Since she was Luo Dongqing's wife, she shouldn't kill him, let alone the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. No wonder the old man Luo Dongqing couldn't return home. It turned out that his wife was so powerful that she was a level higher than him, reaching the great vehicle stage. However, he was very confused in his heart. He had never provoked this old woman, so why did she catch him? Was she not satisfied with his guidance to Luo Dongqing? Just as he was speculating, the person stopped and casually unsealed his acupoints. Qin Haodong opened his eyes and found himself in a 2-story bamboo building, and in front of him stood a woman in a miniskirt. This woman had a head full of silver hair, but her face did not show any signs of aging. Moreover, it was just as Luo Dongqing had said. She did indeed have a peerless appearance, and her eyebrows and eyes were somewhat similar to the little she-devil. Now he could completely confirm the identity of the other party. Miniskirt, high heels, this was Luo Dongqing's wife, Luo Hongying's grandmother. Originally, when he sent the high heels and miniskirt to Luo Dongqing, he still had a bad idea in his heart. He wanted to see what the old lady would look like after wearing it. Now she looked quite beautiful. "Boy, what are you looking at? Believe it or not, I will dig your eyes out," the old lady said coldly. "Senior, it's nothing. I just think this set of clothes is very suitable for you." Although the other party's attitude was very cold, Qin Haodong didn't feel her murderous intent, so he was still very relaxed. The old lady snorted and said, "Tell me, what is your purpose in approaching my granddaughter?" Qin Haodong was speechless. This granddaughter was called the Little Witch, and her grandmother's thinking was not very normal. Elder sister, no. Senior, when did I approach your granddaughter? She thought the food here was delicious, so she stayed here and didn't leave, okay? And she never paid a penny. The old lady said, since you like my granddaughter, you shouldn't hook up with other women. Chin Haodong was speechless. The old lady's thinking was too jumpy. Ordinary people couldn't keep up with her at all. Senior, when did I say that I liked your granddaughter? I'm at most friends with her. My granddaughter has never liked any man since she was a child. Since she likes you now, you must like her. Chin Haodong was speechless. Chin Haodong suddenly found that he was simply speechless. Whatever the old lady said was completely according to her temperament. She didn't play by the rules at all. No wonder she could not let the old man in for 10 years. Her character was definitely not ordinary. Only a masochist like Luo Dongqing could stand it. If it were him, he would not go back no matter what. The old lady continued. From today on, you can only be with my granddaughter alone. Treat her well. And you are not allowed to have anything to do with other women. When you go back, drive Zhao Xingyue away. And you are not allowed to have any contact with Feng Qiong, and Yun Qianqian. A man should be devoted to a woman. Chin Haodong said with a bitter face. Senior, I told you that Luo Hongying and I are just ordinary friends. We really don't have that kind of relationship. Nonsense, my granddaughter is so beautiful. How can you not like her? Chin Haodong felt that it was really impossible to reason with the old lady, so he could only say, Senior, in fact, I already have a girlfriend. Chapter 892. Right now, all he wanted was to return to Earth as soon as possible and reunite with his woman. Although Zhao Xingyue, the Little Witch, and the others were also very outstanding, he really did not have any thoughts about them. You can't have a girlfriend. You have to marry my granddaughter. The old lady said coldly. Who's your girlfriend? Tell me, and I'll kill her right now. Chin Haodong was about to collapse. He had seen unreasonable people, but he had never seen such an unreasonable person. Senior, you can't be so unreasonable, right? Reason. My granddaughter is the reason. As long as she is happy, I will do anything. The old lady said. Tell me, is your girlfriend Feng Qiong or Yun Qianqian? Or rather, that girl called Zhao Xingyue? None of them are. In the face of such a perverted old lady, Chin Haodong certainly did not dare to speak carelessly, or these girls might really be harmed by him. Who is that? Hurry up and tell me, or I'll kill all three of them. Chin Haodong was almost driven crazy. How could there be such a person in the Lingwu continent? In the end, he could only say helplessly, Senior, I was lying to you just now. I don't have a girlfriend. Since you don't have a girlfriend, then stay with my granddaughter. I'll let you get married in a few days. Hearing this, Chin Haodong was anxious and hurriedly cried, No, Senior. The old lady said with a cold face. What? Don't you like my granddaughter? No, your granddaughter is so beautiful. How could I not like her? But we are still in school. Isn't it too early to get married? In the face of a master of the Desheng stage, Chin Haodong felt powerless. The old lady said, It's not early at all. I married Luo Dongqing when we were still in school. Chin Haodong was at a loss. He had a lot of women waiting for him on Earth. He couldn't marry the little witch, could he? But if he didn't agree, this old lady with a strange temper might do something. Suddenly he had an idea. Senior, now that things have come to this, I can only tell you the truth. If you want me to marry Luo Hongying, then that would be harming your granddaughter. The old lady stared at him and asked, What do you mean? Chin Haodong gritted his teeth and said shyly, I can't hide it from you now. In fact, I don't like women. I like men. Think about it. If someone like me really marries your granddaughter, she will never be happy. The old lady's stiff expression changed once again. You're not lying to me, are you? Senior, how could I dare to lie to you? What I said is true. Think about it. Your granddaughter is so beautiful, and I slept in the same room with her. If I like women, how could nothing happen? Otherwise it would be abnormal. It seemed that Chin Haodong's words made sense. The old lady nodded slightly and said, "Boy, let's forget about what happened today. If I find out that you lied to me, I will cut you up." Chin Haodong almost cried. Who had he provoked? Not only had he been labeled as a gay friend, but now he was facing the risk of becoming a eunuch at any time. It seemed that he really had to be careful in the future. He couldn't show his feelings to any woman. Otherwise, if this Deshang stage old lady knew about it, then he would be in danger. "No, senior, I dare not lie to you. But please keep it a secret for me. After all, this kind of thing is not good to hear. Go away. I don't want to talk about your ugly things." After knowing about Chin Haodong's situation, the old lady seemed to be very disgusted. She waved her hand and directly drove him out of the room. Chin Haodong went out and finally breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, he got through this. After going out, he looked around. This was the mountain between their north and south colleges, called Black Tortoise Mountain. As for the old lady, she lived alone in a bamboo house halfway up the mountain. The location was secluded and not bad. After determining the direction, he rushed down from the top of the mountain and returned to his dormitory. When he entered the door, he found the little witch and Zhao Xingyue sitting on the bed with anxious expressions on their faces. Seeing Chin Haodong enter the door, Zhao Xingyue said anxiously, "Brother Qin, where have you been? Why did you suddenly disappear?" In contrast, the little witch was much calmer. She giggled and asked, "Little brother, did you secretly go on a date with Sister Yin?" After hearing her words, Chin Haodong's expression became tense. If it was under normal circumstances, he would have passed it off as a joke. But this kind of joke could not be made now. It might bring trouble to Yin Qianqian. "Little girl, you can't talk nonsense like this. I have nothing to do with Yin Qianqian." The little witch stuck out her tongue and said, "Since you have nothing to do with her, why are you so nervous? Are you feeling guilty?" Chin Haodong thought to himself, "How can I not feel guilty with your perverted old lady around?" However, he could only think about it in his heart, and did not dare to say it out loud. Zhao Xingyue said, "Brother Qin, then where did you go? I was really scared when I saw you disappear just now. I was afraid that you would leave me alone." It was really hard to say where he had gone just now. He could only smile and say, "Nothing, I was just taken away by an old monster." The little witch made a face and said, "You're lying. There is no old monster in our Black Tortoise College. I think you secretly went on a date with a beautiful woman. You can think whatever you want." Chin Haodong hesitated for a moment and said, "Luo Hongying, it's not very convenient for the three of us to live here. How about you move out?" He was really afraid of the little witch, that perverted old lady. If he continued to live like this, there was no telling what would happen one day. It would be terrible if he was accidentally cut up. He would not be able to face his women then. Hearing his words, the smile on the little witch's face suddenly disappeared. She said nervously, "Brother, why do you want to drive me away? Did I do something wrong?" Chin Haodong quickly said, No. I just think it's not very convenient for the three of us to live together." "No, it's fine for the three of us to live together." The little witch suddenly showed a look of realization. "Brother, do you think I don't pay you for food and accommodation here? If so, I can go to Grandpa for money." Hearing what she said, Zhao Xingyue also said pitifully, "Brother Qin, I also know that I have been using your money these days. I will pay you back in the future. Don't drive me away, okay?" Before one was settled, another one ran away to make a fuss. Chin Haodong said helplessly, No, it's not about money. If you are short of money, I can give you some." The little witch's face suddenly became ugly. "That is to say, I'm very annoying to you, right? Since you want me to leave, then I'll leave and never come back." After that, she angrily walked out of the door. Chin Haodong suddenly realized a serious problem. If he really drove the little witch away, would the girl complain to her grandmother? If the perverted old lady knew that he had driven her granddaughter away, would she directly come to him to settle accounts? Thinking of this, he felt that the possibility was really high. For his own safety, he quickly went forward and grabbed the little witch. Don't go. In fact, I was just joking with you. The little witch turned back, and her eyes were already a little wet. Brother, do you really hate me? No, you are so cute, how could I hate you? Then you won't drive me away? No, I was just joking with you. You can stay as long as you want. I know you are the best to me, the little witch said and threw herself into his arms, pouting her little mouth. It seemed that she wanted to kiss him again. Chin Haodong was shocked. Although he could not drive the girl away, it was still necessary to keep a distance. He quickly dodged to the side and reached out to grab the little witch's shoulder. Stop it, it's almost dawn. Let's go to sleep. The three of them lay back on the bed, but Chin Haodong could not sleep. He kept thinking about what he should do next. Since he could not drive the little witch away, he could only avoid her by himself. In the future, he would try to refine pills as much as possible and reduce the time together. No matter what, strength was the first priority. He had to hurry to improve his cultivation. If he could reach the form synthesis stage and take the Yuan burst pill. Although he could not say that he could defeat the perverted old lady, at least he could save his life. However, at this stage of cultivation, every increase in level would consume a lot of top-grade spirit stones. He calculated that he needed at least 100,000 top-grade spirit stones to ensure that he could successfully break through to the late void refinement stage. Now that he refined a furnace of pills, excluding the cost, he could save hundreds of top-grade spirit stones. It seemed to be a lot, but he was still far from the final goal, so he had to hurry. The next morning, he ran to the alchemy room early. The little witch and Zhao Xingyue went to class as usual. After a busy day in the alchemy room, Chin Haodong came out to catch his breath in the evening. At this time, Zhao Xingyue and the little witch were still in class. Luo Dongqing pushed the door open and walked in. After entering the door, she stopped 2 or 3 meters away and looked at Chin Haodong from head to toe with a rather strange expression. Chin Haodong touched his face and looked in the mirror. He did not find anything wrong, so he said in surprise, "What are you looking at? Don't you recognize me?" Luo Dongqing curled her lips and said, "I thought you were a good guy and wanted you to be my grandson-in-law, but I didn't expect you to have such a heavy taste. You actually have a special hobby." As he spoke, he took 2 steps back, as if he did not dare to be too close. Chin Haodong suddenly understood what was going on. It seemed that the old lady did not keep his secret at all, and told Luo Dongqing. Sure enough, all kinds of women had a heart of gossip. When he saw Luo Dongqing's expression, he was even angrier. "What do you mean by avoiding me? Even if I like men, will I do something to an old guy like you?" He said angrily. "Old man, I have helped you a lot these days, but look at your wife. She took me away directly from here. How can you repay kindness with enmity? Can't you control your wife?" Luo Dongqing laughed and said, "My wife is very good. Why should I control her?" Chin Haodong glanced at him. It was obvious that he was a henpecked man, and his cultivation was so much lower than hers. Even if he wanted to control him, he could not. "Forget it, you can do whatever you want. Just don't come to me in the future," Luo Dongqing said. "Little Chin, the gift you gave me yesterday was also good. My wife's attitude towards me is better. Do you have any good things? Give me some more." Chin Haodong was so angry that he would not help him. He said angrily, "No, I have nothing." Chapter 893. Luo Dongqing said, "Little Chin, you've helped me twice. The effect is very good. You can't ignore me. The effect is good. I almost became a eunuch. I don't want to care about your stinky business." Chin Haodong directly turned his head and ignored the old man. Luo Dongqing was completely flustered and quickly cried, "Little Chin, tell me quickly, what should I do next?" Thinking of what happened last night, Chin Haodong became angrier and angrier. He said with annoyance, "What else can I do? Just buy some seed drugs and use it on her, then just push her down. She's your wife anyway." "Oh, I see. I'll listen to you." Luo Dongqing turned around and left. Chin Haodong was just saying that out of spite, but when he came to his senses, Luo Dongqing had disappeared. Holy sh*t, did the old man really do what he said? He was really speechless. The old man's cultivation was quite high, but why was his EQ so low? Couldn't he tell which was true and which was false? If he really did that, what would the perverted old woman's reaction be? Would she directly kill him? Just as he was worried, Zhao Xingyue and the little witch came in from outside. What made Qin Haodong even more depressed was that the way they looked at him changed as soon as they entered the door. It was obvious that they were looking at him strangely. The old lady must have told the little witch about it, and then the little witch told Zhao Xingyue. Although he didn't see it, he could guess this kind of thing with his toes. Little brother, I didn't know that you have a special hobby. No wonder you didn't have any reaction after seeing Sister Yin, Zhao Xingyue said in a low voice. Brother Qin, this can't be true, can it? Qin Haodong couldn't explain it. Finally he simply said, it's true, it's true. He now felt that it was good to let everyone think that he liked men, which would save him a lot of trouble in the future. But then the little witch's words almost made him collapse. Since you don't like women, it means that there are now 3 women in our dormitory. Can I not wear clothes at night? After dinner, Qin Haodong did alchemy very late and returned to the room. The 2 girls had already fallen asleep, so he sneaked to his bed and prepared to sleep. But not long after he got into bed, a fragrant wind suddenly blew over, and a hot body burrowed into his bed. Qin Haodong was startled. He took a closer look and found that it was the little devil girl. At this time, although she was not naked, she was only wearing the spaghetti strap pajamas, and she was still tightly pressed against his arms. This feeling of warm jade in his arms immediately made him have a reaction. He said helplessly, "What are you doing here?" "Nothing. I just want to see if you're lying." As the little lass spoke, she wrapped her arms around his neck and rubbed her elastic body against his chest like a snake. Then she kissed him on the cheek. "Hey, you can't do that." Qin Haodong was really anxious. A man and a woman were alone in the middle of the night. Wasn't this torture? Although he said so, he had not been so close to a woman since he left Earth. Under the little witch's torment, his body suddenly reacted. He. The little witch smiled and reached out her hand. Then she said with a blush, "I know you're lying to my grandma. You don't like men at all." The little girl had already found substantial evidence, so he had to admit it even if he didn't want to. "I'll tell you, but you can't tell your grandma." The little witch stuck out her tongue and said, "Why? It's wrong to lie to people. Why did you lie to my grandma?" Qin Haodong said, "If I didn't say so, your grandma would force me to marry you. Isn't it good to marry me? I'm so beautiful to be your wife. Don't you want to?" The little she-devil put her forehead on Qin Haodong's forehead and asked, her breath smelling like orchids. Qin Haodong felt hot inside. The little girl's temptation was too great. He quickly ran the greenwood genuine qi to control his impulse. He pushed the little witch away and said, This is not a matter of whether I want to or not. Anyway, I can't get married so early." The little witch said naughtily, "I don't care. Anyway, I'll tell Grandma tomorrow." "How dare you?" Qin Haodong had an impulse to kill her. The little witch was not afraid at all. She said with a smile, "Why not? Do you dare to eat me?" Qin Haodong suddenly, his expression changed and he showed a playful smile. "I don't dare to eat you. But you won't have anything delicious to eat in the future. If you dare to tell the news, don't expect to eat anything from me in the future." The little witch, who was not afraid of anything, was suddenly pinched. She quickly put her arms around Qin Haodong's neck and said, "Little brother, don't worry. I promise I won't tell anyone. Go back to sleep." Qin Haodong finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the little girl was a foodie. Otherwise, he really didn't know how to deal with her. "Then I'll go back. This is our secret." The little she-devil giggled and gave him another peck on the cheek. Then she tiptoed back to the bed. Although she was gone, Qin Haodong still couldn't fall asleep. He was afraid that as soon as he fell asleep, the perverted old lady would rush in from outside. He spent the night in fear. What he worried about didn't happen. The next morning, Luo Dongqing walked in from outside with a happy face. After entering the door, he put his arm around Qin Haodong's shoulder and said excitedly, "Little Qin, you're really good. Your method is really useful. I'm finally back home." After saying that, he laughed and turned to walk out of the door. Looking at his back, Qin Haodong was dumbfounded. How could this work? He just said it casually out of anger. Did it really work? This perverted old lady really couldn't be measured by common sense. In the following days, Qin Haodong became a lot more low-key. Except for going to the Alchemist Union to buy medicinal materials, he almost never went out. He had been immersed in refining pills in the alchemy room. For half a month, he had refined countless elixirs, and the top-grade spirit stones in his storage ring had slowly accumulated to more than 80,000. However, under his ruthless torment, the Alchemist Union was also saturated with pills. After all, it took time to digest and sell them. In desperation, Su Wujing could only tell him not to refine pills for the time being. The Alchemist Union had no money to buy them. Qin Haodong calculated that he was still short of 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. Tomorrow was the day of the freshman competition. It seemed that he could only go there to make a fortune. At dinner, the little witch said to him, "Little brother, tomorrow is the day of the freshman competition. Sister Xingyue, if the three of us form a team, we will definitely be able to win the championship." Team? What do you mean? Qin Haodong had been immersed in alchemy recently. He didn't know much about the Black Tortoise Institute and didn't know much about the freshman competition. The little witch said, "It's like this. During today's class, the school announced the rules for this year's freshman competition. It's different from the past. This time we need to form a team of 3 and fight as a team." Zhao Xingyue said, "I originally wanted to give up on this year's freshman competition, but I heard it's a team of 3. I'm not afraid if I'm with Big Brother Qin." Qin Haodong was speechless. No matter what, this girl was a mid-stage void refinement expert. She could be considered one of the top experts in the institute, but she had the strength of a tiger and the courage of a rabbit. She didn't dare to do anything. He said, "Why is it a team of 3? Isn't it like this in the past?" The little witch said, "You asked the right person. I'm the only one who knows about this. Yesterday, I heard from my grandmother that traces of the Ghost King sect have recently appeared in Black Tortoise Kingdom. Several students from other institutes have been killed while carrying out missions. In order to increase their strength and ensure the safety of their students, the major institutes in Black Tortoise Kingdom have issued such an order. Students must form teams of at least 3 people when leaving the institute. This is the fundamental reason why our institute changed the situation of the competition. However, to avoid panic, we haven't announced it to the public yet." Qin Haodong asked, "What kind of organization is the Ghost King sect? Is it very scary?" The little witch said, "I just heard it from my grandparents. I don't know the specific situation, but from the name, it doesn't sound like a good person." Zhao Xingyue said, "I know some news about the Ghost King sect. They are an extremely evil sect. The people in the sect improve their cultivation by absorbing the essence of warriors. This sect has disappeared under the joint suppression of the major sects in the past few years. I don't know why they suddenly jumped out and came to our Black Tortoise Kingdom." Qin Haodong asked, "Is this Ghost King sect very strong?" Zhao Xingyue said, "The Ghost King sect has many disciples. It is said that the Ghost King has reached the late Deshang stage. Last time, the sect masters of several major sects joined forces to attack him, but they failed to kill him. I didn't expect that he would make a comeback now." The little witch said in surprise, "Sister Xingyue, how do you know all this?" Zhao Xingyue's expression froze. She murmured, "My father told me. He told me to run away as far as possible if I meet people from the Ghost King sect." Qin Haodong was a little curious about the girl's identity, but he would not ask since she did not want to tell him. After all, everyone had their own secrets, and he had more secrets than others. The next morning, the freshman competition of Black Tortoise College officially began. 1,000 new students came to the school's main field together to listen to the Vice Dean Luo Dongqing's speech. Qin Haodong felt that Luo Dongqing was much more energetic after not seeing her for half a month. It seemed that she was living a good life after returning to her wife's bed. After a speech, Luo Dongqing announced the rules of the competition. First of all, the new students whose cultivation was below the transcendent stage were not allowed to participate in the competition, and 2/3 of them were eliminated at once. Among the remaining students, everyone was free to form a team of 3. If they could not form a team themselves, the school would help them form a team. After the meeting, Qin Haodong returned to the class and found that everyone was looking at him strangely, especially the boys. They kept their distance from him for fear that he would molest them. He could not help but smile bitterly. It seemed that his reputation of liking men had spread throughout the school. This old lady was really harmful. At this time, Yun Xiang came over and said with a smile, "Brother-in-law, do you really like men?" Qin Haodong glared at him and said in a low voice, "So what if it is true? Aren't you afraid that I will burst your ass?" Yun Xiang smiled and said, "It doesn't matter. My life belongs to you, brother-in-law. You can take it as long as you like." Qin Haodong said, "Go away. Stay away from me." While they were talking and laughing, Mei Lin came in from outside. Chapter 894. Under Mei Lin's organization, their class was quickly divided into groups, and the list was reported. The other classes were also very efficient. All the participants were counted in the morning. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, nearly 400 contestants came to the training ground in groups of 3. The training ground was carefully built by the Black Tortoise Academy. It could accommodate thousands of people at the same time. The whole ground had been strengthened by formations and was extremely strong. The freshman competition was an annual event of the Black Tortoise Academy. At this moment, the training ground was full of spectators. Some of them were new students who had been eliminated, and some were old students who had come to watch the fun. Xue Pan and He Kaishan had arrived early. They stood side by side and looked at Qin Haodong, who was standing with the little witch, and Zhao Xingyue. Their eyes were filled with hatred. He Kaishan said, "Brother Xue, this guy really dared to participate in the competition. It seems that our chance for revenge has come." Since leaving Qin Haodong's dormitory that day, Xue Pan had gone to Yin Qianqian several times, but he was rejected every time. In the past, Yin Qianqian hated him, at least on the surface. But now, she was not even interested in talking to him. This made Xue Pan very angry. He blamed everything on Qin Haodong. He said, "This time, I must destroy this guy's cultivation and kick him out of the Black Tortoise Academy." He Kaishan said, "I've already thought about it. We have to control the competition. We can let him enter the last stage, but we can't let him be too conspicuous." Xue Pan said, "One more thing. We have to know ourselves and our enemy. We have to figure out his strength in advance." As the 4th master in the academy, he was very smart. Although he was full of hatred, he did not let it get to his head. He knew that only by thoroughly figuring out Qin Haodong's strength could he ensure the success of his plan. He Kaishan said, "Don't worry, Brother Xue. I've already arranged everything. According to your instructions, we bought the fortune pills sold by the Pharmacists' Union at a high price and promoted the cultivation of the people we arranged to the Void Refinement Realm." Xue Pan smiled coldly. "Although the first level of the Void Refinement Realm is nothing, I don't know if this guy can handle 3 people at the first level of the Void Refinement Realm." Not far away from them, 2 extremely beautiful girls were whispering to each other. They were Fang Qiong, and Yin Qianqian. After seeing Qin Haodong, a smile appeared on Fang Qiong's cold face. She said softly, "Senior brother, you will succeed." Yin Qianqian and Fang Qiong were best friends, so she chimed in, "I think so too. Dr. Qin's cultivation is so high that he will definitely be the champion of this competition." Fang Qiong nodded, and then her delicate face blushed. "Qian, do you think those rumors are true? What did you say?" Yin Qianqian naturally knew what her best friend was asking about, but she wanted to tease this goddess who had always been cold and aloof. Fang Qiong's face reddened even more. "It's about the rumors about my senior brother. They say that he likes men. Recently, Qin Haodong had not visited her. Coupled with the rumors in the academy, she had this question. Our ice goddess has always looked down on men. Why is she suddenly gossiping? Yin Qianqian took Fang Qiong'er's hand and giggled. Naughty girl, don't tell me you have fallen in love with Dr. Qin? Fang Qiong'er immediately retorted. How dare you talk about me? I heard that someone publicly announced that he would marry no one but my senior brother. This time, it was Yin Qianqian's turn to be embarrassed. I just wanted to get rid of that bastard Xue Pan. Don't take it seriously, Fang Qiong'er whispered in her ear. I heard that senior brother cured your illness. You two have been in close contact. Do you think he is that kind of person? Yin Qianqian did not know whether her best friend meant it or not, but when she thought of the process of curing Qin Haodong, she suddenly blushed. In the end, she said in a voice as small as a mosquito, I don't think Dr. Qin is that kind of person. At this time, a man and a woman walked over from afar. Their arrival immediately caused a stir in the crowd. Look, Brother Xiao is also here to watch the competition. He is the third master in our academy. Xiao Yulong is nothing. Didn't you see that Jinghong Fairy is here too? Jinghong Fairy never watches the competition in the past. Why is she here this year? Jinghong Fairy is the #1 master in our academy. Is she going to participate in this year's hunting competition for old students? It's hard to say whether Jinghong Fairy is the #1 master. She won and lost against the little she-devil in the competition. It's not clear who is #1 and who is #2. Amidst the discussion, the two walked to the outside of the training field and stood still. Xiao Yulong was tall and handsome. His cultivation had reached the late stage of the void refinement realm, which was higher than the average academy teacher. It was no wonder that he was the idol of thousands of girls. Jinghong Fairy Morong Jinghong was the #1 master in most people's eyes. Her cultivation had reached the peak of the void refinement realm, which was one level higher than Xiao Yulong's. At the same time, she was also a peerless beauty. Although she was only wearing a black school uniform, it could not hide her beauty. Her waterfall-like long hair was tied into a ponytail, and she carried the startling sword on her back. She was beautiful and heroic at the same time. The two looked into the training field side by side. Morong Jinghong looked around and finally locked her eyes on Qin Haodong and the other two. Xiao Yulong had been pursuing Morong Jinghong, so his attention was always on her. Following his gaze, he saw the little she-devil holding Qin Haodong's arm. Jinghong, are you looking at Luo Hongying? Someone actually said that she is the #1 master in the academy. What a joke. She has been in the academy for 4 years, but she is still a freshman. How can she be compared to you? Morong Jinghong frowned slightly. Deep down, she did not like the way Xiao Yulong addressed her. The two of them had not reached that level of familiarity. Don't underestimate this little she-devil. Her summoning skills are very powerful. It's indeed a draw between us. It's hard to say who is more powerful. Xiao Yulong said fawningly. Although the little she-devil fought to a draw with you, it was because of luck. Her summoning skills are too unreliable. Morong Jinghong did not argue with him anymore. Instead he said, Ever since I saw Luo Hongying, I have never seen her so close to a man. Xiao Yulong chuckled. A man? I heard that he is not a real man at all. He is just a guy who likes women. Maybe the little she-devil thinks that he is a good sister, so she is so close to him. Morong Jinghong said, I heard that he is this year's newcomer king. His strength is unfathomable. Xiao Yulong curled his lips and said with disdain, What newcomer king? He is just an alchemist who uses elixirs to forcibly improve his cultivation. People like us who practice martial arts can only reach the peak by single-mindedly focusing. For someone like him who is multitasking at such a young age, the height he can reach in the future is bound to be limited. No matter what, he cannot be compared to you and me. Morong Jinghong said, I think you are still underestimating this person. As far as I know, no one knows what height his cultivation has reached. Height? At best, he is at the late stage of the divine transformation realm. Morong Jinghong shook his head. Have you ever seen a 6th-grade alchemist at the late stage of the divine transformation realm? Xiao Yulong had always been arrogant. After hearing rumors that Qin Haodong liked men, He sneered at the newcomer king and looked down on him from the bottom of his heart. Even if he is a 6th grade alchemist, he is at best at the early stage of the void refinement realm. Morong Jinghong said, "First of all, it is very commendable for him to reach the early stage of the void refinement realm at this age. Moreover, he made the Dong brothers suffer one after another, and was eventually expelled from the Black Tortoise Academy. Shui Pan and He Kaishan suffered a great loss in his hands. Do you think such a person can only be at the early stage of the void refinement realm?" Xiao Yulong curled his lips and said, "I have also heard about them. It is just that this kid is too lucky to have Dean Luo behind him. I have never believed in luck. Without the support of strength, it is useless no matter how much luck you have." Morong Jinghong said, "I don't know if you have noticed, but whether it is Dong Jinhai, He Kaishan, or Shui Pan, none of them were able to fight with Qin Haodong, and were then beaten up without knowing it. In other words, they suffered one after another, but until now, they still haven't figured out the bottom line of Qin Haodong's cultivation. Don't you think this is interesting?" This, Xiao Yulong thought about it carefully, and it did seem to be the case. Ever since Qin Haodong entered the Black Tortoise Academy, he had never been defeated by anyone. There was not even a tie with him. After thinking about it, he said, "I still think this kid is too lucky. The freshman competition is coming up soon. I want to see how long he can hide. When the time comes, we will naturally be able to see the depth of his cultivation." Morong Jinghong smiled. "In short, I think he is an interesting person. If he can win the first place in the freshman competition, I am willing to enter the hunting competition to play with him." Xiao Yulong was shocked. Morong Jinghong was known as the Jinghong Fairy and had an otherworldly aura. Aside from cultivating, she rarely participated in the academy's activities. Today, she was actually willing to participate in the hunting competition for that kid. Then, a hint of joy rose in his heart. He had to participate in the freshman hunting competition. When the time came, he could ruthlessly step on Qin Haodong and show his elegance to the Jinghong Fairy. Before the freshman competition began, Luo Dongqing announced the rules of the first match. Everyone would participate in a team battle in the training field until there were 48 people left. At the same time, he announced that the first place of the freshman competition would receive 20,000 top-grade spirit stones as a reward. Then the competition officially began. After he gave the order, all the contestants in the training field immediately became nervous. Every team had 3 people standing back to back, vigilantly staring at their opponents. The only exception was the team of Qin Haodong, the Little Witch, and Zhao Xingyue. Before the competition began, everyone had already received a lot of information. They knew that among the 3 people in front of them, one was the newcomer king, and the other was the Little Witch, one of the top 10 experts in the academy. In the face of such a powerful combination, no team was willing to go up and cause trouble. Anyway, there were 48 people in the final competition, so they did not care about the 3 people in front of them. Therefore, after the competition began, everyone retreated, immediately leaving a hollow circle with the 3 of them as the center. Qin Haodong was very satisfied with this situation. For him, it was best to avoid trouble. He waved his hand to the contestants around him. "Everyone do as you please. As long as you don't cause trouble for me, I promise I won't cause trouble for you." After saying that, he sat on the ground and took out an oven from his storage ring. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.